An island for all. I can add attributes to everything. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 126 Stigma/Divine Lightblade. Naturally, Subei didn't know that, in Baron Atwood's heart, he had already positioned him as the apprentice of the Demon Slayer. Of course, even if he knew, he wouldn't admit it. Just let this vampire guess. In battle, the more you think, the faster you die. Subei was keenly aware that Baron Atwood's mind was no longer on the fight, so he resolutely seized the opportunity to launch a fierce attack. Although I don't know what this blood clan is thinking, it doesn't matter. The important thing is that he showed his flaws. Gale slash came out of his hand, forcing Baron Atwood to retreat. His blood barrier has been repaired, but he was almost cut over with a knife before, which made Baron Atwood make up his mind to distance himself from Subei. Moreover, the fighting method that the blood race itself is good at is the long-range attack with blood. Fighting close combat is not their forte. In the face of Subei, who was rushing again, Baron Atwood flew backwards very decisively. 610. Condensed into bat wings with blood technique on the back, bringing a high amount of mobility. Then Baron Atwood was shocked to find that Subei was running faster than he was flying, and rushed in front of him in 2 steps. The long knife in his hand swung a dozen times in an instant, easily smashing the recondensed barrier. Baron Atwood felt that he had been slashed several times, but because the speed was too fast, the pain had not yet reached his brain. Puff. Blood splashes. Baron Atwood's body fell from midair, knocking down several large trees one after another. Subei's eyes were split. It's all money. Die. Subei let out a low voice, his legs exerted force, and his body flew out like a cannonball. With a flash of the dragon's blade in his hand, the gust of wind slashed out, and several wounds were again slashed on Baron Atwood's body. Baron Atwood was beaten. Where did the humans come from? They are so strong that they are not like humans. Fortunately, he is a blood clan. As long as the core is not destroyed, the body can be automatically repaired. It just isn't the way to go. If it were other enemies, it would be better to say that Baron Atwood was not afraid at all. But the one in front of him was a demon slayer. He was restrained by nature. If it wasn't for the huge gap between the two sides, this would have been reduced to ashes. Thinking of this, Baron Atwood was a little strange. Where did this human get the Demon Slayer warrior inheritance? Didn't his mentor teach him how to use his power? Only ordinary skills can only be wounded without dying, and the unique power of the Demon Slayer must be added to the attack to cause effective damage. Baron Atwood breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, this anthropomorphic person is not good at learning. He would never have imagined that the way Subei obtained the inheritance of the Demon Slayer warrior was not taught by others, but reinforced by his entry. While thinking about it, Baron Atwood jumped up from the rubble and threw 2 blood spears with his backhand, gaining a chance to breathe. While Subei smashed the blood spear with his knife, he also heard a very small cracking sound. There was a gap on the edge of the Longian knife. Baron Atwood was stunned for a moment, then laughed. Human, you are indeed very strong, but your level is too low and your weapons are too poor. You are doomed. Just let me bury you, an unqualified demon slayer, and completely break the inheritance of this damn profession. The Blood Clan Baron had originally planned to run away, but now seeing the dawn of victory, he could not help but change his mind. If he can take this human head back, he will definitely be rewarded. This is the head of the Demon Slayer warrior, and it is very valuable. Thinking of this, Baron Atwood released the blood technique again, condensed a sharp arrow of blood, and flew towards Subei. Subei originally wanted to chop directly. But Longian Dao has shown with actual actions that it can't stand it. Only use high-speed movement to dodge. It's time to change weapons. Subei secretly said. Go back and let Augur and the others reforge the Longian saber and fuse some meteorite iron into it. I think the quality can be greatly improved. But that's a matter of the back, and the top priority now is to destroy Baron Atwood. Gale is unable to inflict fatal damage, and can only rely on Tanwu Demon Slayer / but Baron Atwood still has a bat in his hand, and he hastily made a big move, which is easy to miss. But once the other party is on guard, it will be difficult to succeed. In the blink of an eye, Su Bei sent Shen Qingling a message: "I need some physics skills that can restrain the Blood Clan." Shen Qingling was shocked when he received the news. Su Bei met the Blood Clan. How is it possible to meet such a powerful enemy? However, Shen Qingling wisely did not ask. Instead, report the situation to the Special Task Force. There are not many skills to restrain the Blood Clan, and it is also limited to the physics department. Anyway, Shen Qingling couldn't find this kind of skill, so he could only let the Special Task Force exert his strength. And the action of the special team is also very fast. In less than half a minute, 2 skill books arrived in Shen Qingling's hands. Shen Qingling didn't even look at it, and directly sent it to Su Bei. Although Su Bei was fighting Baron Atwood, he also took the opportunity to read the information of 2 skill books. Stigmata / low-grade silver, leaves stigmata on the enemy, hits 3 times in total, causing additional sacred damage. Sacred Light Blade, silver low-grade, strengthens the weapon, making it with divine attribute damage. The 2 skill books are both silver level, and their value is already very high. And they are all general skills, not limited to occupations, but also double their worth. Su Bei refreshed decisively. Stigma / struck in excellent entry. Double strike, excellent level. Each time you hit an enemy, you can leave 2 stigmata, and the item level will be upgraded to the lower gold level. The Holy Light Blade is a little worse, the highest rare level. Burying the Sharp Edge, rare level. Increase the attack range of the Holy Light Blade, and upgrade the item level to the best silver without any hesitation. Su Bei fixed the entry directly. In the current situation, it is a little bit to improve the combat power a little, and it cannot be challenged. And the excellent level and rare level entries are not bad, and they will not bury these 2 skill books. Between lightning and flint, Su Bei completed the entry fixation and used 2 skill books. Baron Atwood had a bad premonition in his heart. Su Bei's movements were so fast that Baron Atwood couldn't see it clearly. But instinct made him alert and back a distance. Baron Atwood fixed his eyes on Su Bei and whispered, "Human, what have you done?" Su Bei sneered and didn't answer. His palm brushed over the surface of the Longyan blade, and the bright and holy light circulated on the blade. Then Su Bei said, "What have I done? You will find out later." Mean. How shrewd Baron Atwood was! How could he not see that Su Bei had learned a new skill, and his nose was crooked with anger. This group of hateful humans, relying on the protection of the island world, obtained many conveniences. Such as learning skills. Just use the skill book, you don't have to start from scratch at all. Is this reasonable? Is this science? Su Bei doesn't care how angry Baron Atwood is. With a new skill, it's time to let this vampire know what cruelty is. Advertisement Chapter 127 Killing Baron Atwood. After learning 2 new skills, Su Bei immediately became more confident. The Shenwang Sharp Blade is added, and the Longyan knife is flashing with brilliance. The most important thing is that the divine aura can definitely restrain Baron Atwood. Coupled with the stigmata slash, as long as he continues to attack, he will always reach his carrying limit, and he has to use the bat skill. At that time, it was when Su Bei used Tanwu to destroy the demons in a decisive battle. The Longyan saber vibrated, and Su Bei rushed forward, facing the incoming blood technique. He was able to slash and parry again with the Longyan saber. After blessing the Shenwang Sharp Blade, the Dragon Yin knife will not directly collide with the blood technique, and the probability of breaking is greatly reduced. Without extra dodging, Su Bei's charge speed is simply unstoppable. Baron Atwood's expression changed, and he increased the energy output. At the same time, he waved his bat wings and raised his height, trying to take advantage of his flight to get rid of Su Bei's pursuit. How could Su Bei do what he wanted? Jump on the top of Baron Atwood, and slash the Gale slash and Stigma slash in an instant. Gale slash blew up the barrier, while Stigmata slash left 2 indelible marks on Baron Atwood. The holy power contained in it made Baron Atwood growl in pain. It hurts, It hurts too much. Baron Atwood immediately overturned all the previous battle plans. Don't say anything to take this human's head back. It's important to save his life. He knew that the Demon Slayer warrior had the heavenly martial demon slaying slash, which was extremely powerful. But this human being in front of him has not used it from beginning to end. Instead he has learned 2 new skills. Then the intention of the other party is obvious. It is to use ordinary skills to test his bottom line, and in the end, the winner will be decided by the Tanwu Demon Slayer. TSK. Cunning humans. Baron Atwood cursed in a low voice. Then rose a little weakly. He saw Subei's tactical intentions, but so what? It's also completely unreasonable. His dignified silver top-level Blood Clan Baron was pressed and beaten by a human being. Speaking out, how could he still be in the Blood Clan circle? Not to mention a counterattack, even the resistance is a bit difficult. Baron Atwood's hatred for the abyssal rats couldn't be more. Those dirty things dared to frame him, and they must kill tens of thousands of rat people to vent their anger. Baron Atwood's thoughts were racing here, and Subei didn't think so much. He was going to work harder and detonate the stigmata, causing more damage to Baron Atwood. The first time the stigmata is detonated, Baron Atwood may resist hard to test the damage of this skill. If you can handle it, you won't have to worry about it in the future. But if he couldn't stand it, the second stigmata detonated, and he could only use the bat to avoid the damage. At that time, it was the time for Tanwu to destroy the demon. Subei's eyes were firm, and he pursued again. The dragon yin sword slashed dozens of times in an instant, smashing the recondensed barrier. Then the stigmata slashed out. Baron Atwood was alert. But as Subei guessed, Baron Atwood wanted to test how much damage the stigmata really did. Then he knew what a violent explosion was. The stigmata on Baron Atwood glowed dazzlingly, and then exploded. The scream spread all over the island, and the sound was so piercing that Subei felt pain. Immediately the victory is in hand. The power of the stigmata is beyond his imagination, which is a good thing. It means that the death of Baron Atwood is approaching. Pursue it. In the fluctuating ability, Subei attacked again. The pale Baron Atwood fled in embarrassment, and the damaged body was trying his best to repair, but the holy power at the wound greatly delayed this progress. This made it difficult for him to even dodge. In addition, what shocked Baron Atwood the most was that he still had a stigmata on his body. The explosion just now only consumed 3. Each attack will leave 2 stigmata. 3 will explode. Baron Atwood roared in rage. How can there be such a shameless skill? This is not to leave a way out for their Blood Clan. Subei didn't care about that, and chased after him with a grin. Another stigmata slash. The Blood Baron will not be seriously injured. If he doesn't use the bat, he will die. The dragon blade slashed at Baron Atwood with holy power. This familiar feeling made Baron Atwood stand upside down, and the fear of being shrouded in death spontaneously emerged. Bat. Without the slightest hesitation, Baron Atwood used this life-saving skill. Hundreds of bats were flying around in the air. Subei threw the gale slash with his backhand, killing a dozen of them with ease, and then swung his sword one after another, continuing to expand his advantage. Seeing that his bat was about to be chopped off, Baron Atwood could only reunite. At this time, Subei saw sharply that in the bat, there was a mass of scarlet energy. That is the core of the Blood Clan. It is their source of strength and also the source of life. If the blood nucleus is damaged, no matter how strong the Blood Clan is, it will fall into a deep sleep. If it is blown up, all but a few individuals will die. This is what Subei has been waiting for. Tanwu, exterminate demon slash. The knife shines. The bats gathered together and tried to intercept, but to no avail. The Tanwu demon extermination slash broke through all obstacles and easily split the blood core in half. The bats in the air exploded one after another, turning into blood mist. Baron Atwood only had time to cry out, and was suppressed by Huang Wang Xinwei, and there was no movement. The blood core that was split in half fell to the ground. The top blood race of silver, Baron Atwood, perished. Subei didn't care to sigh about the others, ran 2 steps forward and picked up the blood core. As predicted, the energy of the 613 surface is rapidly draining. Coupled with the suppression of Tanwu Demon Slayer slash, It will not take long for this blood core to turn into stone, and it will have no value at all. Tsubei's heart was broken, and after confirming that there was no danger, he grabbed the blood nucleus in his hand and absorbed it. It has to be said that even a broken blood core contains a lot of energy. After all, he is a top-level blood clan baron in silver, and his strength is there. If it weren't for the encounter with Tsubei, it would definitely be a disaster. While thinking about it, the color of the blood nucleus quickly dimmed, the surface was covered with cracks, and finally turned into powder with a bang and drifted away with the wind. And Tsubei got what he wanted in return. Ding! The level of the host increases, and the number of daily entries is increased by 1. The battle is tough, but it's always a joy to be rewarded. Tsubei is now a bronze intermediate, and soon, he will be promoted to silver. At that time, the ability to add a second entry will be enabled. He was looking forward to it. But for now, grab the spoils first. After the Rat Man priest committed suicide and summoned Baron Atwood, the magic vortex in the air had dissipated. Without supplements, the concentration of magic energy on the island is also decreasing. Although there will be some losses, fortunately, most of the island is still preserved. Next, clean up the battlefield, recycle plants, and integrate the island. There are many things to do. Advertisement Chapter 128 begins recycling. After killing Baron Atwood, Tsubei ran around the sea lizard island quickly, and after confirming that there were no other enemies, he returned to his island. Although the battle here has ended, everyone still maintains a defensive posture. It was not until Tsubei appeared that he breathed a sigh of relief, walked out from behind the bunker, and asked nervously, "Islander, have all the enemies been eliminated?" Tsubei nodded. "It's settled. Now start cleaning the battlefield." "Yes." The people acted immediately. Eleanor controlled the turtle team and picked up the corpse of the burrow goblin in the sea. These creatures will condense magic energy crystals, not necessarily all, but they must be checked first. On the beach, the rock soldiers began to deal with the crypt goblins. Augur and others gathered the enchanted sea lizards, first took off the scales, and then checked whether there were any enchanted crystals, and if not, they threw them into the sea. These flesh and blood eroded by demonic energy have little use value. It can only be thrown into the sea and become food for fish and shrimp. The sea will contain everything. Taking advantage of this time, Eleanor came over and asked, "Islander, what is the identity of the enemy on the opposite island?" Tsubei said, "At first it was some abyss ratman, then 3 ratman priests summoned the vampire baron." "What?" Eleanor paled in shock, and hurriedly asked, "Islander, are you all right?" 35 Eleanor was confused and completely forgot about it. If Tsubei had something to do, how could he stand here? Tsubei smiled and said, "I was superior and hacked the opponent to death." "Islander is mighty." Eleanor gave a thumbs up, and then looked ashamed. "Islander, this time I put everyone in danger because of me. Please punish the Islander." Eleanor was very sorry. She proposed to come to Sea Lizard Island this time. As a result, he encountered unexpected enemies, and even a blood baron appeared. Thinking of the danger that Tsubei encountered just now, Eleanor felt cold hands and feet and felt shameless to face her companions. For this, Tsubei did not take it too hard. This is not Eleanor's fault, and she is not a prophet. So how can she know that there are abyss rat people here? Her original intention was to come to merge and absorb Sea Lizard Island, and to increase the size of the island again, for the sake of the island. It's just that the plan can't keep up with the changes, and this kind of thing happened. Not a big deal either. There were no casualties, and it was even profitable. Although some of the soil on the Sea Lizard Island needs to be removed due to the magical energy, it cannot be absorbed by fusion. But the main body is well preserved, with an overall area of 3 square kilometers, which is a great compliment to the island of Tsubei. The same goes for the plants on the island. Unlike the previous Iron Lizard Island, this Sea Lizard Island is lush and full of life. There will be some loss of the plants above, but most of them remain. As soon as the Abyss Ratman started to move, Tsubei killed him before he could use the magic energy to erode the island. The impact is limited. Compared to Harvest, these losses are acceptable. In addition, from Tsubei's point of view, The biggest gain from this battle is not to see Lizard Island, but the corpses of these burrow goblins. Out of the corner of his eyes, he could see that the rock soldier recovered a lot of magic energy crystals. This will allow Dueling and others to quickly improve their level. In addition, the aborigines of the island world, such as Eleanor and Augur, can actually absorb the crystals of magic energy. But they need to control the rhythm and not be too hasty. After this battle, the ranks of everyone under Subei's command will be greatly improved. Even he can go one more level. That's what he values most. Subei knew very well that no matter how strong he was, there was only one person. Only when the whole is strong can it be really strong. So Eleanor's guilt is completely unnecessary. Subei said, "Eleanor, don't blame yourself, it's not your fault. On the contrary, if we hadn't come here and discovered the conspiracy of the Abyss Rat people in advance, it would have been more difficult to deal with them when they formed a scale. At that time, is the real disaster." When Eleanor thought about it, this was indeed the case. While speaking, Dueling came over and said, "Island owner, the battlefield here has been cleaned up. Whether to land on the opposite islands to clean up." Dueling also knew the dangers of demonic energy, and knew that it was not too late, and that the harmful parts of the Sea Lizard Island needed to be cleaned up as soon as possible. Otherwise, the magic energy will slowly escape, eroding the surrounding things. Subei said decisively, "Start moving." During the conversation, the distance between the two islands narrowed again, and the closest distance was less than 100 meters. The Earth Spirit energized and built a stone bridge, and everyone immediately got busy. Star Iron Tiger escorted the Earth Spirits and Rock Soldiers to the opposite Sea Lizard Island. Augur and other dwarves went together. They were going to find ore. After Subei arranged related matters, he also followed. The Sea Lizard Island is more than twice that of the previous Flower Fairy Drifting Island, and the output must be extremely rich. He will pluck the fruits of victory himself. When they came to Sea Lizard Island, the gravel and soil were gathered by the Earth Spirits, transported to the edge and dumped into the sea. These are not recyclable, which is a pity, but there is no way. The Abyss Ratmen who were killed before have been gathered by the Rock Soldiers, opening their stomachs to search for the crystals of magic energy. The crowd continued to move forward to the place where Baron Atwood fell. Under the divine power of Tanwu Demon Slayer / the Blood Baron did not even leave a complete body. His blood core was also absorbed by Subei, and he was completely wiped out. But there was still an evil energy fluctuation in the air, which made the dwarves like Og shiver. Blood Baron, that's no joke. Their blood skills are extremely powerful, and each of them is a powerhouse capable of leapfrog battles. As a result, he was still hacked to death by Subei. Augur sighed, the island owner has become stronger again, and even the Blood Baron can be killed. Norton looked fascinated. The island owner can give us mysterious power. What is it to kill a Blood Baron? Hubert echoed, that's right, for the island owner, the mere Baron of the silver-level blood clan, Wang Dihao, is nothing more than a Baron. The other three dwarves, Benjamin, Zachary, and Lori, looked at each other. The Blood Baron. Is it weak? It seems not. But when they think of Subei's mysterious methods, they feel that it depends on the person whether he is weak or not. They couldn't beat the Blood Baron, which didn't mean the island owner cooled. Thinking of this, the three dwarves couldn't help but look forward to it. When will they be able to obtain the mysterious ability bestowed by the island owner? While thinking about it, Augur clapped his hands and said, our level is not high, and our help in battle is limited. What we can do is to find the mineral veins on this island. Norton nodded and took over the conversation. Not only that, we have to speed up the action and cast the energy cannon as soon as possible. No problem. The dwarves were like a rainbow, carrying their hammers and set off. Bang bang, two hammers down, with a happy expression on his face. On this island, there are actually mineral veins. Advertisement: if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 129: Hang Gold Mine. Sube is discussing with Eleanor how to improve the marine biological vigilance circle in the future. Then I saw the dwarf Benjamin running fast on his short legs, shouting, "Islander, good news! There are mines on this island." Hearing this news, Sube immediately came to the spirit. Due to the characteristics of the island, it is very difficult to appear ore veins. And generally not very large. But something is better than nothing. Sube doesn't pick. Following Benjamin to the destination, several dwarves were holding mining picks and excitedly digging holes. After seeing Sube, they stopped their work and said, "I have seen the island owner." Sube nodded in response, then asked, "There are mines on this island, can you determine the type and scale?" 35 Norton stroked his beard and said, "Back to the island owner, according to our preliminary calculations, this is a vein of constant gold, which is not large in scale, but has a minimum reserve of 100 tons. 99 henjin, or 100 tons." Sube recalled the relevant information, and his expression became joyful. Eternal gold is not gold, but similar to gold, it is stable and has a certain resilience. Even if it is damaged, it will be repaired over time. Kind of like Blue Star's memory alloy. However, all attributes are much stronger. It can be said to be an enhanced version. The basic grade of eternal gold has reached the bronze level, which is a level higher than magic iron. Of course, it is definitely not as good as meteorite iron. But the meteorite iron thing is too rare, and it is also a coincidence that Sube only got tens of thousands of pounds. It sounds like a lot, but in total it's only a dozen tons. Half of them are used to forge 8 energy cannons, and there are not many that can really be used. And now, at least 100 tons of constant gold has been found on Sea Lizard Island, which immediately gave Sube a sudden and rich feeling. This thing is mined, whether it is for personal use or sale, it is excellent. Sube immediately said, "Determine the range, and when I merge later, I can move the ore veins to an open area for mining." Augur and the others immediately acted, and began to explore the ground in different directions, and quickly determined the trend of the Henjin mine. Sube climbed high on the island and began to study how to integrate the Sea Lizard Island. Such a big island, it is definitely impossible to break it down into pieces and fuse it together. But like the previous drifting islands, the edges of the two islands are butted and then merged into one. In this process, Sube needs to move the Evergold mine as far as possible from the central area of the island. In this way, subsequent mining will not affect the existing planting area. This is not difficult, but it is time-consuming. It is estimated that the island cannot be moved within a day or two. However, Sube had no idea of where to go next, so he simply stayed here for a few days. In addition, Sube is also more concerned about the movements of the Abyss Rat people. They can't have just this amount, maybe there are some hidden in a corner. Wait and see here. If the turtle team finds the Abyss, then they will go and kill it. To save them from doing things every day. If they get another blood baron, it will be troublesome. While thinking about it, the area contaminated by demonic energy was cleaned up, and the earth spirit and the split body began to transfer plants. However, according to Sube's observations, there are not many species of plants on this island, or even very few. Low shrubs make up the majority. Green dillberries, top-grade black iron, common berry plants. One of the foods of omnivores. Sea lizards are aggressive in appearance, but they are omnivores. Eat meat when you can catch prey, otherwise eat berries. This Sea Lizard Island is full of green dillberries. No wonder it attracts so many sea lizards. Green radish berries have no other effect, just a big tube full, too. Even sea lizards can fill their stomachs. The taste is sweet and sour, and the juice is abundant. It is a very popular high-end fruit in Blue Star. It is very good to give gifts. Commercially, it is generally used for canning or juicing. As a pure economic crop, it is not a loss to grow on the island. Most importantly, there are many. Sube estimates that the number of green dillberries that can be recovered this time is at least 4 figures. The steady stream of output is enough for Blue Star's company to turn around and get back a lot of money. Except for the green dillberries, There are not many plants left. The specific situation will have to wait for dueling to complete the statistics. Recycling continued into the afternoon. After the plants on Sea Lizard Island were basically transferred, Subei controlled the heart of the island and began to merge and absorb Sea Lizard Island. The island vibrated slightly, and the edge contact surfaces began to fuse. BHCF. Ling also completed all the statistics and began to report the situation to Subei. Islander, this battle killed 233 enchanted sea lizards, all the scales have been recovered, and 51 enchanted crystals have been recovered. 99 kill 352 burrow goblins and recover 107 demonic crystals. In addition, after the discussion between Eleanor and Avina, the magic circle arranged by the Rat-Man priests agreed that it would not have any residual impact on the island. Subei nodded, very happy. Obtaining 158 magic energy crystals is what he values very much. It's not enough to make him go up one more level, but it can make Du Ling and others' level rise quickly. Du Ling then reported, next is the plant recycling data. No gold-grade plants were found in this recovery. 11 silver-level plants were recovered, and they are Dingfeng pine. 93 bronze-level plants were recovered, all of which are poison needle pine trees, and have been placed separately to avoid accidental injury. The second is the black iron plants, with a total of 1,325 plants, all of which are green dillberries, which have been transplanted according to the different classifications of fruit maturity. After speaking, Du Ling handed over the data file to Subei. Subei checked it carefully, nodded and said, well done, hard work. 99 no gold level plants were found, which was the biggest regret. However, correspondingly, the number of black iron plants has greatly increased. One is quality and the other is quantity. It can't be said that it is completely crushed, it can only be said that each has its own advantages and disadvantages. Among the remaining bronze and silver plants, the bronze poison needle pine is often used to extract toxins, has a strong paralyzing effect, and has a miraculous effect when applied to weapons. As for the silver-level Dingfeng pine, as the name suggests, the biggest effect is to reduce the wind speed and reduce the damage of the typhoon to the island. 11 pine trees are scattered all over the island, which can effectively improve the quality of life on the island, which is also a good harvest. In general, this time I came to Sea Lizard Island and made a lot of money. Although there was a little unplanned incident, it didn't hurt. Instead, Subei harvested more than 100 magic crystals, which was the icing on the cake. Subei even regretted landing on Sea Lizard Island too early. The Skaven priest should continue to maintain the vortex of magic energy, so as to hunt down more burrow goblins. However, this would cause the Sea Lizard Island to be eroded by demonic energy. It is a pity that the two cannot be the same. While thinking about it, Du Ling ran over and talked. Subei immediately understood what it meant. The island is expanding so fast that it can't stand it. Subei thought about it, and it was indeed time to increase the number of earth spirits. Before relying on the split body, he could still take care of it. But this time, the Sea Lizard Island was integrated, and the area increased by 3 square kilometers in one go. At present, only the earth spirits of the black iron level can't stand it at all, and they resolutely come to shake people. Du Ling looked for Subei, and Subei naturally looked for Shen Qingling, and sent a message directly, I need the Du Ling recruitment scroll. Advertisement Chapter 130 Shen Qingling was used to Subei's sudden letter and asked directly, what grade of earth spirit do you want? 99 Whether it is earth spirit or wind spirit, water spirit, fire spirit, the grade is not completely fixed. It is determined according to the recruitment scroll. When the recruitment scroll reaches the bronze level, you can recruit elemental creatures with potential bronze level. And some are silver grade, some only black iron grade. The earth spirit recruitment scroll that Subei obtained at the beginning was obtained from a golden treasure chest, so he was able to recruit earth spirits with a potential of gold level. But one thing is certain. No matter what grade of scroll it is, the elemental creatures recruited at the beginning are all black iron inferiors, and it takes time to improve the grade. Subei has a plan for a long time, and there's a saying that the quality is not enough to make up. The price of gold level Earth Spirit recruitment scrolls is too high, and no matter how rich Subei's financial resources are, I am afraid that he cannot buy them in large quantities. Taking a step back, even if he can pay the money, whether the special team has inventory is a problem. Subei decisively sent a message back to Shen Qingling: bring me 10 bronze-level Earth Spirit recruitment scrolls, and the 2 skill books just now. You can calculate the total amount of money. If you use the constant gold mine to offset the account, you need to how many? Ever gold mine? Shen Qingling couldn't help but wonder what Subei had done. He had just obtained the meteorite iron before, and now he has obtained the permanent gold mine. Did he contract the mine? Collecting his thoughts, Shen Qingling replied, the price of the bronze-level recruitment scroll is very fixed. The unit price is 5 million. The price of 2 skill books is not very good, so the unit price is 40 million. Subei clicked his tongue secretly. Man, it's so expensive. However, the price is very reasonable, and a silver-level skill book is indeed worth so much money. Not even more than that. The main reason is that there is not much output, and it has always been priceless. While thinking about it, Shen Qingling then sent a message: for such a big business, I can give you a 20% discount and then wipe the zero, so let's make up 100 million. As for the price of eternal gold, if it is a smelted eternal gold ingot, the latest the purchase price is 20 million per ton, and you can prepare 5 tons. From eternal gold ore to eternal gold ingot requires smelting. But there is no difficulty. The forging workshop has been rebuilt. A total of 14 fire spirits are breathing flames there, and 5 tons of constant gold ingots can be completed in 1 day. Subei sent a message to Shen Qingling: no problem, only 5 tons, no problem. Shen Qingling jokingly said, the boss is very aggressive. I don't know if Boss Su is interested in selling more Hengjin. 39 Subei replied, it's easy to say, what are you going to exchange for it? Shen Qingling, what we can come up with here is nothing more than materials and equipment, supernatural fruit, etc., or the fragments of the heart of the island and the coordinates of the enchanted island. Shen Qingling, or, let's have some aboriginal people. Subei, it's not appropriate for the special team to do this business. Shen Qingling, don't worry, the aborigines we transfer are all voluntary. The island world is full of crises. Not all aborigines can live in peace, and some of the aborigines who are threatened by demonized creatures will choose to join the human island owner. Under his command, some of them went to the special affairs team. Subei, that's right, that's the truth. I'm quite interested in the aboriginal people you mentioned. What kind of special affairs team are there now? Are there wood elves and the like? 99 Shen Qingling, no, the elves are arrogant and disdain to join other forces. As for the secret arrest, I personally don't recommend it. Those island owners don't end well. Shen Qingling, I'll send you a list, you can choose. After speaking, Shen Qingling sent a form. Subei opened it, and immediately lost interest. Mushroom Man, Snow Savage, my gnome. Subei, are you sure these aboriginal people can call? I don't think it's very reliable. Shen Qingling, you can't ask for too much. After all, the really powerful aborigines don't need shelter at all. Although this is the truth, the list is too shabby. Subei decisively dismissed the idea of recruiting low-level aborigines. With this skill, he might as well use the entry to fix the dwarf and the mermaid back. Even the merman is countless times stronger than the mushroom man. Subei then sent a message: forget about the low-level aboriginal people. It will lower the average appearance of my island. Help me find some magic island coordinates, and I want bronze level ones. Shen Qingling, no problem, but it will take a while, and I will contact you when there is news. Subei, okay. While speaking, Shen Qingling sent 10 top-grade bronze Earth Spirit recruitment scrolls over, and Subei used the recruitment directly. These Earth Spirits are much smaller than Subei's Earth Spirits, only the size of a split body. But given their grade, there's nothing to be picky about. Fortunately, Subei has additional enhancements. Refresh. 99 for the Earth spirits with bronze level potential. There is no need to refresh them individually, and they can be refreshed directly in batches. The results can only be said to make do. The highest is a rare entry. Blessing of the Earth, rare level. Improve the effect of soil skills, and upgrade the item level to silver middle grade. Flowers fixed. Ding. The entry has been fixed. 35 After the 10 new Earth spirits have fixed rare level entries, their bodies look thicker. At the beginning, the Earth spirit jumped up excitedly when he saw his 10 companions. After Subei thought about it, it was necessary to give his Earth spirit a name to distinguish it. From today, you will be called Zhao. Subei patted Tu Ling's head and was very confident about his name. Tu Ling tilted his head and began to ponder, but in the end he didn't understand whether the name was good or bad, but since it was the name given by Subei, Tu Ling accepted it happily. Then he left with his own split body and 10 younger brothers, walking with a mighty feeling. When the Earth spirit left, Agar came again with his friends, rubbed his hands and said, "Island owner, can you give Star Iron Tiger an order to help mine the everlasting gold mine?" On the whole island, Xingtiu only listened to Subei's words, and it was not easy for anyone else to come. Naturally, Subei would not object to the dwarves' request. After all, he had to give the special team 5 tons of constant gold ingots. Immediately called Star Iron Tiger, let it cooperate with the dwarf faction. Augur and the others followed Star Iron Tiger excitedly, and Avina flew over with the flower fairies. Seeing this posture, Subei immediately said, "Avina, if you have anything you want me to help with, just say it." Aviana covered her mouth and chuckled, and said, "Islander, it seems that other people have come to visit before me." Subei smiled and said, "That's right, the Earth spirits and dwarves have already come." After joking for a while, Avina said, "Islander, we have already used all the materials we have to brew nectar wine, and we will be able to harvest the finished product in a month. 5 However, during this period of time, we have nothing to do. I hope the island owner can provide some materials so that we can make more contributions to the island." Subei was taken aback. It was this thing. For such a self-motivated flower fairy, Subei must not let them down. Subei called Zhuan Menayu over and said, "Menayu, Avina needs some raw materials for flowers. You ask the company to buy as much as possible, and I will find the special affairs team for the missing parts." 5 As ordered. "Thank you, Island Lord." The flower fairies surrounded Zhuan Menayu and left. Before Subei could take a breath, he saw Eleanor floating over from a distance. Well, it seems that today is not to think about living in peace. Advertisement Chapter 131 The relationship between the mermaid and the wood elves. "Islander, you seem very tired. Have you been injured in the previous battle?" Eleanor floated over on the water polo, looked nervous, and looked around Subei. Subei waved his hand. "No, there are a lot of things to deal with. What are you coming to me for?" Eleanor took a close look at Subei's face and made sure it wasn't because of the injury, so she felt relieved, and then explained her purpose. "Island owner, I want to apply for a bigger water pool, not to make myself more comfortable to live in, but to keep some heavy water turtles on the island so that I can defend the island at any time." Subei looked at Eleanor and said seriously, "Don't explain this, I completely trust you. If you have any idea, just mention it." Islander. Eleanor was very moved, nodded and said, "I understand." What Eleanor mentioned was actually exactly what Subei wanted. But having said that, how many 617 by Tau heavy water turtles were tamed by Eleanor, and they were able to live permanently on the island? Thinking of this, Subei asked, "Eleanor, how big is the turtle team now?" Eleanor replied, "There are 23 in total, of which 9 are bronze and 14 are black iron." 39 Subei is stunned. Is this development speed a little too fast? There are only 6 of the troops that he has developed abilities that he has been running around. Of course, this is also the reason why Subei took the elite line and did not recruit people aggressively. Otherwise, he could have cultivated dozens of ability users. However, there is little meaning if there is only quantity and no level. Originally Subei thought so. But now hearing Eleanor say that there are already 23 turtles in the turtle team, I suddenly feel that I am still too conservative. He needs to further improve the defense of the island. The level can be gradually increased, but the quantity can be prepared fierce. If it is too risky to spread to the island world, stay in Blue Star first, and transfer to the island when the opportunity is ripe. It just so happens that the scorching sunflower is about to mature, and some E-level ability users can be cultivated. This matter can be left to Juan Meniu. Candidates with abilities who have not been selected before can eat the sunflower first, which can be considered to appease people's hearts. Collecting his thoughts, Sube said, if the turtle team is of this size, it does need to be prepared, but the water pool is definitely not enough. It just integrates with the sea lizard island, so I just need to make it bigger. Speaking of which, Sube took Eleanor to the heights, and called Jiao over at the same time. Sube pointed to Augur and the others in the distance and said, the Everguild mine is being mined there. With the assistance of Star Iron Tiger, it will be completed soon. When the ore is mined, the pit will not be filled, and it will continue to increase and deepen. Get a lake out. Not only can the turtle team be transferred in, but also fish and shrimp can be raised to increase profits. 99 Eleanor calculated and said in shock, Islander. In that case, the area will be at least 0.5 square kilometers. Will it be a waste of land? Sube waved his hand and said, what is 0.5 square kilometers? When your turtle team continues to expand, the lake will also expand. Don't worry about the land issue, our island is not a fixed size, and it will continue to expand. 99 Eleanor thought for a while, and it was the same reason. Their islands can be moved, as long as they find a suitable target and slowly drift over to merge. Thinking of this, Eleanor said happily, then I will thank the island owner. Sube laughed, my own people don't need to say this. 35 After pondering for a moment, Sube continued, you are a bronze senior now, if you want to quickly advance to a silver rank, is there any way? The biggest limitation of Eleanor's taming skills is actually her own level. In fact, the most effective way to increase the defense of the island in the shortest time is to let Sube be promoted to the silver level. And the same is true of promoting Eleanor. After she is promoted to the silver level, she can tame silver-level marine creatures. At that time, the power of the island will grow by leaps and bounds. Even if he encounters the Baron of the Blood Clan again, he can directly crush the opponent with the advantage of numbers. It's just that Eleanor, unlike Sube, cannot absorb magic crystals without limit. However, she is a mermaid and belongs to a strong family in the island world, so she should have a unique way to improve her strength. Hearing Sube's question, Eleanor thought for a moment, and said, there is a way, but it is more troublesome, and you need to find the wood elves. Wood elves? Sube was a little dazed. The mermaid enhances its strength, and it has nothing to do with the wood elves. Eleanor explained, the wood elves have an ancient ritual that can help the mermaid family to level up. This is something Sube didn't know. At least when he was in Blue Star, he never heard of mermaids and wood elves having such a connection. But, it seems very unreasonable. Sube said, why isn't such a ceremony in the hands of you mermaids? Eleanor spread her hands, I don't know, anyway, it's always been like this. On the other hand, our mermaid family also has ancient rituals that can improve the level of wood elves. It's just that these rituals are too complicated and too expensive, so they are rarely used. Magical relationship. Sube's heart suddenly moved, and he asked, Eleanor, is your original homeland in the starting area of the ocean currents? Where are there wood elves? Eleanor said, how do you know, Island Lord? I don't seem to have mentioned this. Sube said, you forgot the horned eagles on the island. They were carried in a treasure chest and drifted with you, and the seeds of the white moon fruit tree also came together. I guess you are from the same place. 35 Eleanor was stunned, and said with sincere admiration, I admire the island owner's insight. Okay, commercial touts are not worth it. Sube said helplessly, I'm afraid we'll have to wait a while to find a wood elf. Our current strength is to send food to that super island. Eleanor nodded again and said, that's the truth, the wood elves are petty, and they are very resistant to outsiders. 35 Sube sighed to himself. The plan to quickly advance Eleanor to the silver level was shattered before it even started. It seems that he can only be promoted first and open the ability to add a second entry. After a few chats, Eleanor left, ready to tell the turtle team the good news. And Sube called Zhuan Menyu to talk about the Liang flower. Although Blue Star has Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu brothers in charge, the human heart cannot stand the test the most. Unlike Zhuan Menyu and others, other employees have no fixed entries in 2.5, and their loyalty is not guaranteed. It is necessary to give some sweetness to the subordinates properly. Zhuan Menyu naturally would not object to Sube's arrangement, but she also put forward her own suggestions. Wait and see. If someone really can't sit still and has thoughts that they shouldn't have, then deal with it and never show mercy. Sube waved his hand and approved it directly. He took the name of Blue Star's company, and the specific affairs were handed over to Zhuan Menyu. The candidate for the ability person cultivated by the special affairs team can be called an all-round talent. Leave the company's affairs to her, don't worry about it at all. Zhuan Menyu retire soon, ready to find time to return to Blue Star and discuss related matters with Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu. By the way, prepare the materials that Avina needs. Sube smiled at everyone who was busy again. It feels really good to be a hands-off shopkeeper. Advertisement Chapter 132 Quiet Development, Nether Energy Cannon Forging completed. The fusion of the islands has been completed, but Sube has no plans to set sail. The Earth Spirit and the younger brothers are retransferring the plants. When they are finished, Sube will refresh the entries for the new plants. Until then, just wait. In his spare time, Sube glanced at the news from the island world. His island rating has officially exceeded 3,000 stars, and he is making steady progress towards 5,000. As for the discussion in the newcomer chat area, Sube didn't take it to heart at all. Richard danced very happily, and the new island owner of the lighthouse country also strongly advocated it. But that doesn't hide the fact that his island rating is only 500 stars. Even though he occupies the second place in the rookie rating list, the gap between him and Sube cannot be filled by conventional means. So the lighthouse country began to go the wrong way. Thinking of this, Sube's expression was very gloomy. According to the information disclosed by Shen Qingling, the lighthouse country is putting pressure on the special team to provide the coordinates of Sube's island. He even threatened to send a representative to the island of Sube to investigate whether there was any fraud. To be honest, Sube almost laughed out loud when he heard the news. 17 Have the people of the lighthouse country been kicked in the head by a donkey? They even made such a request. Unsurprisingly, it was rejected outright. Just kidding. How can something self-destructing be done? Sube's development momentum can be seen by anyone with a brain. Totally unstoppable. As long as you give him a little time, the impact he can bring is immeasurable. The Dragon Kingdom will benefit from this. Although the special team has not yet figured out how he did it. But it does not affect the attention given to Sube. Even feel at ease. They don't know Sube's information, let alone other forces. Is there a better way of protection than this? Absolutely not. The lighthouse country couldn't compete in the island world this year, so it was going to make trouble in Blue Star and exert pressure. As long as they can know the coordinates of Sube's island, they will mobilize the surrounding island owners to besiege. It is true that ordinary islands cannot be moved, but if there are ships, they can still be attacked from a distance. Many senior island owners will start building ships in order to facilitate trade communication with the Aborigines. Together, they are not a small force. But no one would have thought that Sube's island could move. So it doesn't matter if they know the coordinates. By the time the people assembled, Sube had slipped away long ago and could not be intercepted at all. But this news still made Sube very upset. The lighthouse country is a bit shameless. Competing in the island world is just playful. If he were to meet the island of the lighthouse country, he would not mind sending him on his way. However, in the vast island world, the probability of encountering other island owners is not high, and the probability of encountering other island owners is even lower. So Sube can only take this matter to heart. Meet again. While thinking, news came from the Earth Spirits that their work has been completed. and some plants have been transferred to the newly integrated land. Subei first knew Dingfengzong. The biggest feature of this silver-level plant is the dense canopy, which is only a dozen meters in height, but the horizontal span is a bit exaggerated, which is more than 30 meters. From a distance, it looks like a giant umbrella, standing on the island. When you walk nearby, you can clearly feel that the sea breeze softens and brushes across your face, making people feel comfortable. As expected of Dingfengzong, it is worthy of the word Dingfeng. Bei nodded secretly, then refreshed. The highest is the green rarity entry. Range upgrade, rare level, increase the range of the fixed wind effect, and upgrade the item level to the lower gold level. Can't say how strong the entry is, but it is very suitable. Subei didn't expect Dingfengzong to have combat attributes, so he could protect the island in a wider range. Moreover, Dingfeng Pine can also form a linkage with the mist tree. Although the mist tree can continuously replenish the surrounding mist, the sea breeze will eventually have a certain impact. With Dingfengzong, the consumption is much smaller, and the level of the mist banshee can be increased faster. One entry, two benefits, just don't feel too comfortable. Fixed directly. Then, Subei came to the side of the poison needle pine tree. It is the same pine tree, but the appearance of the poison needle pine and the pine tree is much different. Especially the pine needles, with a little blue light, can smell the sweet smell from far away. Correspondingly, it is the hands and feet that are constantly getting numb. Subei's basic attributes are strong, and he easily ignores this level of paralysis. But that's just the smell of poison needle pine. If it is pierced by pine needles, ordinary black iron creatures are completely unstoppable, and they will definitely fall to the ground and cannot move. Subei decisively asked the earth spirit to raise a wall to surround the poisonous needle pine trees. Good guy, don't overthrow the enemy instead of knocking down the enemy, then the fun will be great. Refresh. Familiar. Green light. Effect upgrade, rare level, increase the paralysis effect of poison needle pine tree, and upgrade the item level to the lower level of silver. Very practical. Directly fixed. Walk all the way on the island, refresh and fix all the way. Subei's 9 entries for today's fixed chances run out quickly. It was just in time for dinner. Everyone put down their work and rushed to the villa. It is a privilege to be able to eat with the island owner, and no one is willing to give up this opportunity. Looking at the dining table that was already lengthened, Subei thought that he might have to lengthen it again after a while. But it can't be added further, unless a hole is smashed in the wall. Eat and rest. Subei's life rhythm suddenly slowed down. For the next 2 days, he stayed on the island to refresh and refresh again. This kind of life is actually pretty good, very comfortable. Until the dwarves of Og excitedly found Subei, saying that the first nether energy cannon had been cast. Subei immediately jumped up and took the dwarf straight to the forge. The nether energy cannon made of meteorite iron is pitch black, with the ancient 617 characters engraved on its surface. The barrel is 3 meters long and 40 centimeters in diameter. The little starlight not only did not add brilliance to it, but added a bit of chill. However, the nether energy cannon is still in an inactive state at this time, and the secluded stone has not been placed. Augur said, "Island owner, you are the one to place Yaoshi." It's not that Ogre wants to trick Subei. For the dwarves, it is a very important ceremony to place the secluded stone to activate the nether energy cannon. Recognition of previous work. But Augur and others are loyal to Subei, and they are willing to give this opportunity to Subei. Subei wouldn't be pretentious and say that you can come. He just nodded, picked up the secluded stone with his bare hands, and slowly placed it at the end of the barrel. There are specially placed secluded stones, or other energy stones. When the secluded stone was put in, the surface of the secluded energy cannon quickly passed a layer of brilliance. The barrel vibrated slightly for a moment, then calmed down. But looking at the nether energy gun again, even Subei feels like a one on his back. Success! Augur and the others cheered, their sunken eye sockets filled with excitement. They all looked at Subei, and said, "Islander, are you testing the gun?" 99 Subei replied, "Then you must, come, lift the nether energy cannon to the fort." After speaking, He tried his best to carry the nether energy gun and ran. Og and the others were stunned. In addition to meteorite iron, this nether energy cannon also incorporates a large amount of rare ores, with an overall weight of more than 2 tons. As a result, the island owner carried it and ran away. And still walking fast? Advertisement Chapter 133 Fried Fish. Sube carried the nether energy gun and took the dwarves to the preset fort position. Whether it is the nether energy cannon or the Yanyan cannon that will be completed later, the range easily exceeds 10 kilometers. Even if it is placed in the corner of the island, it can hit the enemy on the other side. It's just for the sake of convenience. Sube still let 2 links set up a hill in the middle. This is the energy cannon position. 8 cannons are placed here, in 2 groups, aiming at 4 directions respectively. During the war, according to the different positions of the enemy's attack, the muzzle will also be adjusted with the help of the Earth Spirit, and the base can be directly rotated. Placing the nether energy cannon on the base, Augur and the others immediately took the hammer and stepped forward to connect the nether energy cannon to the base. At this time, Sube refreshed the nether energy cannon. The secluded stones used in this nether energy cannon, including the other 3 secluded stones recovered from the meteorite iron island, are all quick charge. In battle, 1 more cannon may decide the outcome, let alone 4 cannons. And the power of the nether energy gun is far more than what it is now, and this thing can also refresh the entry. Refresh. The 3 entries, 1 white, 1 green and 1 purple, are quite gratifying. Ballistic adjustment, epic level. The position of the energy bomb is slightly adjusted during the flight to hit a larger number of enemies. Sube thought about it. Wasn't this just self-aiming? However, there are still some differences, and the adjustment range is not large, and it is not expected to point to the other. Therefore, he and someone did not hang up. After Augur and others installed the nether energy cannon, Sube chose to fix the entry. Fixed. Ding, the entry has been fixed. The nether energy cannon flickered again, but it was different from when the secluded stone was placed before. Augur and others studied for a while, and finally came to the conclusion that this nether energy cannon has become stronger. But it's not a big deal. After all, they knew Sube's unique methods and had become accustomed to it. Now that the nether energy cannon is completely completed, it is time to fire a cannon. Augur said excitedly, "Islander, where are we going to bomb?" This question made Sube ponder for a moment, and then said, "It's definitely not possible to bomb the island, so just shoot the cannon into the sea. But I have to call Eleanor and transfer the turtle team away to avoid accidental injury." Augur nodded again and again. "That's the truth." Immediately, let Benjamin wait for the 3 dwarves to go to the island to inform others. Such an exciting moment must be witnessed by all of us. Moments later, Sube saw turtles landing on the shore. Counting them, there were 27, 4 more than the previous 2 days. I think they were the newly discovered heavy water turtles by Eleanor in the past 2 days. At the same time, Du Ling, Juan Menayu and the Lin family sisters, as well as members of the island such as Eleanor and Alvina, also climbed to the heights from different directions. After seeing the nether energy cannon, they all expressed their admiration for Og and other dwarves. As expected of a dwarf, the forging process is strong. After chatting for a while, everyone looked at Sube and looked forward to it. Sube had just studied the nether energy cannon and mastered the method of using it. It's actually really easy. It could even be said that it is simply too much. The charging method of the nether energy cannon is different from that of ordinary artillery. Wait until the energy bullet in the barrel is formed. Then adjust the muzzle direction and press the launch button. With a little practice, even a child can use it. Sube adjusted the direction of the muzzle, then pointed his finger to the distance and said, "Get ready, I will bombard the place 2 kilometers from the shore. Everyone pay attention." Du Ling and the others quickly covered their ears. Augur and Norton dwarves widened their eyes, unwilling to miss any details. This first nether energy cannon is of a certain nature as a test item. By collecting data, it has a strong reference effect on the casting of other energy cannons in the future. Boom. A dull sound emerged from the gun barrel. A massive pitch-black energy bomb swept across a distance of hundreds of meters in an instant, and then castrated unabated. hitting the sea in the distance with precision in just 2 seconds. In an instant, the wind was surging. The seawater was blasted into the sky in the violent energy shock, and a water column tens of meters high was raised. Tsubei could clearly see that there were black holes in the water column. The corrosive property of the secluded stone is strengthened, annihilating all the matter in a certain area. Immediately afterwards, the energy aftermath swept across the sea, setting off waves 2 or 3 meters high. However, when approaching the island, it was blocked by Dingfeng's Og, which caused no additional impact. The shaking didn't calm down until half a minute later. A large number of sea fish were blown up to the point where they turned their stomachs and floated up, and the sea surface turned white. Og and the dwarves immediately counted up nervously, and reported the data after a while. Islander, the output energy level of this shelling has reached 95% of the expected level, and the goal is basically completed. The casting of the nether energy cannon, very successful. The others applauded immediately. Although I don't understand it well, it seems to be very powerful. Anyway, applause is right. In addition, everyone saw the explosion just now. If you hit it directly, it is not difficult to kill a silver level enemy in seconds. Even gold level enemies must be weighed. However, the movement speed of high level powerhouses is very fast, and even if they aim, it is difficult to hit them directly. They are not stakes, and they will honestly stay where they are and be bombarded. But energy cannons are not originally used to snipe enemies. Mowing the lawn is their real use. With one shot, those black iron and bronze rank enemies will definitely die as many times as they come. For example, in the previous battle, there were many goblins in the magic vortex. If there are nether energy cannons, let alone land on the island, they can move quickly if they can leave the magic vortex 10 meters. When we thought that there would be 3 nether energy cannons and 4 yang fire cannons in the future, Tsubei was even more looking forward to it. The test just now was to bombard the sea, but it is also possible to calculate the approximate effect of the bombardment on the ground. A salvo of 8 energy cannons can absolutely clear out all enemies within a radius of 100 meters. The aftermath of the explosion alone is enough to kill the black iron rank enemy, and the bronze rank will also be seriously injured and incapacitated, becoming a lamb to be slaughtered. Even at the silver level, if you get close, don't expect a good end. The former Blood Baron Atwood, if he came here now, he would definitely not be able to eat and walk around. Tsubei patted the nether energy cannon and said with satisfaction, "Og, you guys did a good job." 35 Og said humbly, "The island owner is too famous, Wang Dazhao. Without your ability, this nether energy cannon will not be able to exert such strength." This sentence is true. By fixing the entry, Tsubei raised the grade of Yaoshi from silver to gold, which is a qualitative improvement. Later, an entry was added to the nether energy cannon, making it a real battlefield weapon. After 2 minutes, the nether energy cannon completed the energy gathering. Tsubei thought for a moment, and said, "Everyone come and try. Now that there are nether energy cannons, new problems have arisen. There is no gunner. Although the refill of the psi cannon is automatic, firing is simple. But aiming is the biggest problem. And the follow-up can not only have 1 nether energy cannon, but also a yang cannon, adding up to 8. It's impossible to say that there is only one person to look after it here. At least 8 hours. If the secondary gunner is added, more personnel are needed. The recruitment of gunners has to be put on the agenda. It would be great if you could unearth 1 or 2 ready-made ones. Advertisement Chapter 134. The Abyss Rat Man Thief will not die, and he will be sent back to his hometown in 1 shot. The second shelling was operated by Og, followed by Norden and other dwarves. They are the great heroes of forging nether energy cannons, which is an affirmation for them. In addition, using the nether energy cannon in person can also serve as a better reference and modification for the subsequent forging. Augur took aim for a long time, and finally chose to shoot flat to measure the range. The nether energy cannon re-emerged, and the pitch-black energy projectile flew out rapidly, leaving a black line in the air, and then exploded at the end of the field of vision, stirring up a water column. Just because the distance is too far, it looks like a small splash. Augur said excitedly, "The maximum range has also reached expectations. but the accuracy of this long-range bombardment is difficult to ensure. 55 Augur sighed with regret. I missed it. It's not the problem of the nether energy gun, it's my problem. It seems that I'm not a qualified gunner. Norton stepped forward and said with relief, don't be discouraged. The gunner of the energy cannon is based on talent, we just need to be responsible for the ironing. Just as Augur was about to show a moved expression, Norton slapped him away. Get out of the way, it's my turn. Su-Bei was dumbfounded and said, don't worry, it's still early, try slowly. Norton agreed, but looking at his reluctance to put it down. It was obviously impossible for him to leave the nether energy gun now. Su-Bei didn't care, but looked at Og and asked, Og, since you dwarves can forge energy cannons, then 620 should have a complete system for selecting and training gunners. Although, the aim of the nether energy cannon is simple, after a few practice, you can hit a big difference. But in battle, perhaps it is this error that will lead to the inability to complete the tactical goal, thus triggering a chain reaction. Being able to train professional gunners is naturally the best. Og nodded and said, back to the island owner, yes, the method is also very simple, that is to find people with magical talent for training. They have a natural sensitivity to energy fluctuations and can adapt quickly. 5 When Su-Bei thought about it, it seemed to be the truth. Isn't the nether energy cannon the whole process of the magician's release of skills from condensing to aiming to the final launch stage? Thinking of this, Su-Bei looked at Eleanor. In terms of magical talent, she should be the strongest on the island. As for the rest, not to mention Du Ling's abilities, they are not a power system. The rest are the dwarves like Og and the flower fairies like Avina. Flower fairies are definitely not to be expected. The adjustment of the energy cannon and the adjustment of the harpoon are not the same concept, and the slender flower fairy can't move at all. As for Augur and the others, most of them are out of play. Looking at the entire island world, the magical talent of the dwarves is not strong. While thinking about it, the nether energy cannon finished charging again. BHCF, Norton took aim for a moment, and launched the artillery fire. Norton said quickly, the vibration of the gun barrel is far lower than expected. It is worthy of meteorite iron. It is too stable. Before Norton could finish his sigh, the dwarf Hubert stepped forward with a look that you should give way. Norton is very generous, he has got the data he wants. Walking up to Su-Bei, he said, Islander, the effect of meteorite iron exceeded our expectations, and the subsequent energy cannon forging can strengthen the energy compression, thereby increasing the power. Su-Bei looked at Augur. He didn't understand this kind of professional problem very well, so he had to let Augur calculate it. Augur understood, and after a moment of calculation, he said, Islander, this method is very feasible. Su-Bei nodded and said, okay, since you have reached an agreement, then you can try boldly. But you must also be careful. I would rather reduce some power, but also ensure stability and safety. Augur and Norton assured, the island owner can rest assured that you will not be disappointed. While speaking, Hubert controlled the nether energy cannon to complete the 4th shelling. Afterwards, he rolled up his sleeves, put his arm into the barrel of the gun, felt it for a moment, and said, if it is the current frequency of shelling, then 20 consecutive shellings will not be a problem. Su-Bei looked satisfied. What is professional, that is. The remaining 3 dwarves, Benjamin, Zachary, and Laurie respectively controlled the bombardment of the nether energy cannons, and gave their opinions. The nether energy cannons forged in the follow-up will be further improved in various attributes. Immediately afterwards, Eleanor came to the front of the nether energy gun and looked at the dark barrel with a complicated expression. Su-Bei reacted immediately. Mermaids are peaceful, they don't like fighting. Weapons like nether energy cannons must be resistant. In addition, the core material of the nether energy cannon is the quiet stone, which belongs to the negative energy. Also has some influence. Su-Bei said. Eleanor, if you don't like it, you don't have to try it. Eleanor said with guilt on her face. Islander, I have failed your expectations. Su-Bei waved his hand and said, don't worry. It's natural and inevitable. In addition, you have to control the turtle team, and you can't do 2 things. Su Bei would not doubt Eleanor's loyalty, but some things cannot be forced. Taking a step back, is it possible that without Eleanor, the nether energy cannon will be useless and will not be able to function? Not really. With the power of the nether energy cannon, as long as it is not 108,000 miles away, it can still kill the enemy in the target area in seconds. It's just that if there are professional gunners, they can cooperate to suppress and try to kill high-level powerhouses. And just as he said, Eleanor had to control the turtle team to fight and let her be a gunner here, which is actually overkill. Collecting his thoughts, Su Bei said, Avena, you don't need to test it, this energy cannon is not something that flower goblins can play. 5 Avena bowed and saluted, thanks to the island master for your understanding. 2. Be honest, with the physique of the flower fairy, Su Bei was very worried that when the 8 energy cannons were fired in a salvo, the shockwave would blow them away, and the fun would be great. Might as well get them some harpoons to play with. Therefore, when choosing a gunner, you must not find a flower fairy. Su Bei thought for a moment and made a decision. It's hard to find someone with a talent for magic, but it's not hard to find a gunner. Even if the operating principle is different, it can also be controlled by Blue Star's professional gunners. This matter is handed over to Juan Menayu. After a suitable candidate is found, he will fix the entry to ensure loyalty. While thinking about it, Su Bei heard an exclamation in his ear. Magic vortex. Su Bei's heart tightened, and he quickly raised his head to look around, and then saw the forming magic vortex on the sea in the distance. The eyes are concentrated, and the situation below is also in full view. It's the Abyss Rat Man. They found the giant wood from nowhere, built a wide raft, and marched smoothly in the waves. More than a dozen ratmen armed with spears stood guard on the raft, guarding the 2 figures in cloaks. That's an old friend again. It's the Rat Man priest. The appearance of these rat people did not exceed Su Bei's expectations. The reason why he stayed here was to see if there were any remaining troops of the Rat Man. Now the answer emerges. Moreover, the thief's heart is not dead, and he is ready to condense the magic vortex again. But this time, the scale of the magic vortex is much smaller. The figure of the burrow goblins appeared again, and the number was only more than 30. Su Bei lost interest at first sight. That's it, it's not enough to kill monsters to get the magic crystals, so they just kill them and pull them down. Take over the control of the nether energy cannon and turn the muzzle. Boom. With a roar, the world fell silent. In the water column rising into the sky, the rat man on the raft rose into the air, his body twisted into a twist in the air, and blood splashed. The newly exposed burrow goblins could not escape bad luck, and were directly shaken into flesh. Immediately, the annihilation area of the nether energy gun appeared, and all these enemies were cleaned up, leaving no traces. As for the magic vortex, it also completely disappeared in the turbulent energy wave. Su Bei nodded in satisfaction. Sure enough, truth only exists within range. Advertisement Chapter 135, Eleanor wants to sing. Sending the abyssal rat man back home in one shot is not something to celebrate. Completely normal play. On the contrary, it would be outrageous if one shot didn't end the battle. Su Bei had to wonder what kind of thing came out after so many advanced materials were smashed down. The waves brought by the rat people quickly calmed down, and the testing of the nether energy gun continued. The rest of the test is dueling. Juan Menayu and the Lin family sisters. Augur and other dwarves watched nervously and recorded relevant data. The test results came out, neither good nor bad, just normal. Compared with the professional gunner in Augur's impression, there is a certain gap. It's just that the power of the nether energy cannon is there, and the gap is still acceptable without the pursuit of the limit. Among duelings 4, Juan Menayu's test result was the best. Su Bei thought for a moment and felt that there were 2 factors. On the one hand, Juan Menayu came from a special affairs team and received professional training. She may not be a professional gunner, but she has also been exposed to related equipment. On the other hand, it is her entry. Among the 4 power users on the island, the entries of dueling and the Lin family sisters have bonus powers. And Juan Menayu's entry is ranger, while improving basic attributes. It also grants advanced archery specialization. Perhaps it is this difference that makes her test data better. Of course, it is also possible that her magical talent is high. But this is hard to test. Moreover, even if the magic talent was detected, Juan Minyu would not be able to complete the job transfer even when she was awakened as a power user. But in general, Su Bei's previous ideas have a basis for realization. It is feasible to recruit Blue Star's professional gunners to control the energy cannon. After the test, everyone went back to their previous jobs. Su Bei mobilized all the rock soldiers to be on guard, and then called Juan Minyu and asked her to find 2 teams of professional gunners who were responsible for the follow-up energy gun control. To be on the safe side, at least 2 people must control a gun. The main and auxiliary gunners are each one to avoid damage in battle. That would require at least 16 people. And you have to be a professional gunner, which is not easy to find. But it is not difficult to say, just find a special team. After finalizing the specific details, Juan Minyu said, "Island owner, the blazing sunflower has matured and can be harvested at any time." 5. Su Bei remembered this matter because it was related to the personnel cleanup of Blue Star Company. At this time, Juan Minyu mentioned it, thinking that there was movement. Thinking of this, Su Bei couldn't help but ask, "Have the company's affairs been done?" Juan Minyu nodded, with chills in her eyes, and said, "Back to the island owner. According to my investigation with Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu, the target has been determined. A total of 5 people, 1 is a candidate for ability, and the other 4 are ordinary employees. They have problems." Su Bei waved his hand. "You can deal with it." Su Bei knew that the moment he said these words, the lives and deaths of those people had already been decided. There is no doubt about the loyalty of Juan Minyu and the Zheng brothers. They will not be mixed with selfishness and engage in factional battles within the company. The list they have determined has been confirmed repeatedly. That being the case, what to do with those few hidden dangers? Salary also requires money. After receiving Su Bei's approval, Juan Minyu resigned immediately, and then called Du Ling together and teleported back to Blue Star. Quietly, Su Bei's company lost 5 people. But that didn't cause any waves. Others only when they quit. Completely did not expect that they no longer exist in any corner of Blue Star. As soon as Du Ling's poison-type ability was released, not to mention flesh and blood, even the alloy plate would be completely dissolved. After a while, Juan Minyu and Du Ling returned to find Su Bei to report the situation. "Island owner, things have been done." 55. Su Bei nodded to show that he understood, and then said, "Bring half of the scorching sunflowers back to Blue Star for the awakening of the supernatural beings. You can decide what to do, don't be in a hurry, but make sure to be safe." 5. Juan Minyu immediately replied, "The island owner can rest assured," and promised to complete the task. With the remaining half of the sunflower, Su Bei is going to leave it to the Lin sisters to experiment. They explored several formulas from the experiment diary, including those that required scorching sunflowers, which were used to make explosive potions. Simply put, it is a powerful stimulant that can stimulate potential and achieve short-term strength improvements. Su Bei calculated that there should be a market. Prepare to make some shots first. If the response is enthusiastic, then mass-produce them and cut those trainee island owners again. Summoning the Lin family sisters, Su Bei said, "Didn't you guys say you want the scorching sunflower? Now it's mature. I'll keep half of it for you. Let's test it, but be careful." 5. Thank you, Island Lord. Lin Xiaoyan and Lin Xiu were very happy, and then said shyly, "Islander, I haven't seen you recently. Where have you been at night? 4 flowers. Su Bei thought for a while. He had been fishing for the first 2 days and wandering around the island, as if he had neglected them. However, the matter of catching fish cannot be exposed. Su Bei said casually, "I was in the forge with Augur and the others to study energy cannon casting." It turns out that this is the case, but the island owner should also pay attention to his body. Lin Xiaoyan advised, "For things like this, leave it to Augur and the others to deal with. You can have an overview of the overall situation." Su Bei nodded and said with a smile, "The first energy cannon, you have to pay more attention. You won't be able to do it later. Lin Xiu said next to him, Island Master, I'll make you a pot of medicated food for nourishment at night. Remember to drink it. Su Bei had no objection. Who made him an island owner who is good at listening to his subordinates? The Lin family sister said goodbye and left. They were going to find Katie and Avina, and then try to prepare the explosive potion. When I left, I also swore that I would have results by tomorrow at the latest. When things were done, Su Bei contacted Shen Qingling and sent the gold ingot. This is when the energy cannon is cast, and it is smelted by the way. The current forging workshop is quite large, and there are 14 fire spirits, and the two-line operation is not difficult. Xingtiu has made great efforts in mining the eternal gold mine. With its tireless efforts, all the Evergold mine has been mined. At this time, Tu Ling was taking his younger brothers to expand the mine, preparing to expand it into an artificial lake. This is the base of the Turtle Squad and the new home of Eleanor. While thinking about it, Su Bei walked to the edge of the mine. Eleanor came over to greet him, and then began to report the situation. Islander, the expansion of the lake can be completed today, and the introduction of seawater will follow. This is not difficult. The earth spirit can control the soil to separate the ditch. The focus is on the fish and shrimp in the lake. In addition to the consumption of heavy water turtles, additional fish and shrimp can be transported back to Blue Star, which is also a good source of income. Thinking of this, Su Bei said, Eleanor, I heard that you mermaids can attract sea creatures together. Eleanor replied, it's true. The island owner wants to quickly increase the total number of fish in the lake. Just leave this to me. In the evening, Eleanor reported that the expansion of the lake was completed and the sea water was pouring in. Eleanor sincerely invites everyone on the island to watch the ceremony. She can sing the mermaid song. In this regard, whether it is Su Bei, Du Ling and others, or the aborigines such as Augur, they are all looking forward to it. Mermaid sing, which is extremely rare. Advertisement: if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 136. The movement in the chat area. The mermaid singing has a peculiar magic power, which can soothe the soul and even dispel the hatred in the enemy's heart. This is not a rumor, but a fact. And it's a fact that happened before everyone's eyes. With the soft and melodious singing, Su Bei felt that his whole body was going to be empty. The expressions of others also became stretched. In the channel that was merging into the artificial lake, there was a movement of splashing water. Looking at it in the moonlight, it was all fish and shrimp, rushing to swim forward. Eleanor slowly entered the lake along the slope, and the sea fish that were still a little dazed immediately found their backbone and gathered around Eleanor. There are constantly fish and shrimps that are attracted by the singing and swim into the artificial lake. Su Bei couldn't help sighing secretly. This efficiency is invincible. Much faster than he bought fry from the special team and put them in. June, 20 inches. Just when Su Bei was addicted to singing, Shen Qingling suddenly sent a message. Look at the newcomer chat. Su Bei was at a loss, but did so anyway. Then you know why. At this time, the things discussed in the newcomer chat area can actually involve him. The reason is that the owner of the island of the lighthouse country, Lin, released a video. In the video, the ethereal singing came from nowhere, and then the camera rotated left and right, and you could vaguely see many dark shadows swimming under the sea. The light shines in the past. It is fish and shrimp. They seem to be attracted by the song and are swimming in a certain direction. Lighthouse Country. Lin, how about it? Now believe I heard the mermaid singing Lighthouse Country. Richard, at Lin, I believe in you. Finding a way to get on the line with that mermaid will be of great benefit to our Lighthouse Country. Lighthouse Country. Lin, at Richard, sir, I will try my best. Bangtsai Country in Mingzi, Ziba. Why didn't I meet a mermaid? Fusion Kingdom. Fumitsu Desi, you are thinking about farting. The sun never sets. Mares, at Lin, you can swim along the song and have a look. Maybe there is an adventure. Lighthouse Country. Lin, at Mares, don't try to lie to me to go to the island. You people who never set the sun are too bad. Kangaroo Country. Ramodama, How can there be a mermaid singing in the middle of the night? A Sango Bedouin. Then you have to ask Lin, he met first. Subei didn't know what expression he should use to face it. Is it so coincidental that the first time Eleanor sang, it was heard by other island owners? And it was also from the lighthouse country. This is just so good. Subei smiled, but he remembered that 2 days ago, the lighthouse kingdom was making trouble in Blue Star, trying to know the coordinates of his island. Although Subei wasn't afraid of revealing the coordinates, he just drove straight to the island and ran away. But it made him very upset. Originally, he had said that he would teach them a lesson if he encountered the island owner of the lighthouse country, but he did not expect to come so soon. Lin, the name he vaguely remembered. When Richard jumped out before, it was this kid who waved the flag behind him and shouted, jumping in the chat area more than anyone else. Subei took out a small book, flipped a few pages, and found Lin's name. Lin, right, your time to die is here. Through the video just now, Subei has determined Lin's location. In the northwest direction. Next, he's going to get into trouble. While thinking, Eleanor's singing became calmer. The number of fish and shrimp in the artificial lake meets the requirements, and the more it is, the more it will be full. Subei glanced at the chat area, where Lin shouted a pity that the mermaid could no longer sing. However, he also let out a word, preparing to try to find it by boat after dawn. The newcomer chat area became lively again because of the mermaid. Many island owners chatted and irrigated in the bed, discussing the magic of mermaids. And Subei received Shen Kingling's second message. Can handle it? Subei quickly replied, I don't really understand what you are talking about. 39 Shen Kingling, it's nothing, I just remind you to watch the fun. Subei, thanks for your reminder, otherwise I would have missed it. Shen Kingling, if you have nothing else to do, go to bed early. By the way, the Special Affairs team is in contact with several senior island owners, and is going to get the silver-level Magic Island coordinate jade from them. Are you interested? Subei, yes, but it's not now, let me have some bronze first. Shen Kingling, we are also preparing, there should be news in the next 2 days. Subei, I have a message to inform me, I'm sleeping. After sending the message, Subei turned off the chat bar and fell into deep thought. This little girl, Shen Kingling, is quite good at digging holes, and she is also very clever, and wants to test his truth. But she is only guessing, there is no direct evidence. Anyway, Subei killed him and refused to admit it, so Shen Kingling could only continue to guess. Collecting his thoughts, Subei called Eleanor over and said, I need your assistance with something. Eleanor immediately said, Island Master, please instruct me to complete the mission. Subei pointed to the northwesterly direction and said, there is an island there, the exact distance is unknown, and there are humans moving on it, so let the turtles explore the general situation, determine the specific location and distance, and don't get too close. Eleanor Binksu was smart and reacted immediately, saying, Islander, did my singing reveal our position? Ling and others also came over and asked to fight. Islander, are you going to fight? Count me in. Subei waved his hand, first determine the situation, and then act. The opponent's island should not be moved, and the initiative is in our hands. Subei was still very satisfied with the high willingness of everyone to fight. But this time, they don't need to take action. He has a bold plan. The first thing to do is to determine the location of Lin's island. At the same time, his island has to move 2.5 times, and it must not stay in place. Who knows what hole cards Lin has in his hand. Even if he didn't have it, he wouldn't be able to hold the lighthouse country to temporarily add it to him. So you have to hide yourself. Subei waved his hand, it's getting late, go to bed and rest, and let's keep your spirits up. Seeing this, everyone could only say goodbye and leave, but in their hearts they planned to go back to intensify their training and must give the enemy a head-on attack. Eleanor summoned a few heavy water turtles, and after a few whispers, the turtles dived into the water and headed towards the direction Subei pointed. Subei clapped his hands, and then saw Lin Xiaoyun and Lin Xiu approaching and said with a smile, Island Master, The medicinal food is ready, eat it while it's hot. 99 Sube looked up at the sky. The moonlight is thick. There will be a tough fight tonight. But he was fearless. Advertisement Chapter 137 Tactical Planning. The next morning, as soon as Sube walked out of the villa, he saw Eleanor coming with turtles. Islander, the location of that island has been determined. 99 Hearing this news, Sube came to his senses. However, before checking the information, Sube came to the basement of the villa and stopped the island. After he discovered Lin's Island last night, he maintained a speed of 3 nautical miles per hour, and began to move at a 90-degree angle. In one night, he drove 30 nautical miles, reducing the risk of being discovered. Back on the ground, Sube called everyone else over. The first battle against the Blue Star Island Master is about to begin, and we need to brainstorm ideas. After everyone was seated, Eleanor began to introduce the situation. According to the directions provided by the island owner, after advancing 45 nautical miles, the heavy water turtle discovered an island with signs of human activity. 35 Eleanor said while drawing a straight line on the drawing. The starting point is the island location of Sube last night, and the end point is the island location of Lin. Then, at the starting point, I drew a line at 90 degrees, and the place where I stopped is where Sube is now. A right triangle. Such an intuitive pattern immediately let everyone know the location of the other party. Eleanor continued, the other side's island cannot be moved, and the overall area of 17 is about 2 square kilometers. According to the perception of the heavy water turtle, there is no silver-level powerhouse on the island. In addition, there is a wharf on the edge of the other side's island, but no ships were found. The preliminary judgment is that they have gone to sea. Based on the size of the dock, there are 2 to 3 ships. I have asked the turtle team to set up a cordon, and if the other party approaches, they will get the news as soon as possible. 99 After speaking, Eleanor sat down and left Sube the space to play. Sube pondered for a moment, then said, this battle, the whole process is bombarded with nether energy cannons from a distance. Our goal is not to occupy the island, but to destroy the island, and there is no need for landing operations. Also, erect a flag on the island. Menayu, what happened to the flag of the Bangtsai kingdom that I asked you to make? Juan Menayu stood up and said, Island owner, it's already done, and it's the largest size, so you can see it clearly from 10 nautical miles away. 35 Very good. Sube nodded and continued, in this battle, the nether energy cannon is controlled by Juan Menayu. Augur, you are responsible for recording the data and assisting in correcting the trajectory. 5 As ordered. In fact, making Juan Menayu a gunner was a helpless move. The preset sailing direction of the heart of the island can only be a straight line, and in this battle, Sube is going to make a circular motion around Lin's Island. One shot and another place will definitely make Lin's scalp tingle. Only in this way, he needs to stay in front of the heart of the island and constantly modify the direction. As for the flag that Juan Menayu prepared, it was very simple. She simply wanted Bang Tsigo to take the blame. Sube will let Lin find him, but he can't get close. The other party can only see the stick flag fluttering in the wind from a distance, and then being bombarded by nether energy cannons. The next thing will definitely be very lively. With the lighthouse country's unwillingness to take losses, it will definitely turn all its anger towards the stick country. It would be better if the two sides fought. Anyway, if the dog bites the dog's mouth, Sube will just watch the fun. Collecting his thoughts, Sube said, disband and start fighting in 8 hours. 35 Everyone stood up and said, yes. After the combat meeting, Sube came to the heart of the island, set the direction, and maintained the speed at 5 nautical miles per hour. In this way, they will arrive at about 15 nautical miles from Lin Island in 8 hours. Followed by rounds of bombardment. Just take this opportunity to test the long-range attack ability of the nether energy gun. According to Augur's calculations, the maximum range of the nether energy cannon is 50 kilometers. Which is 27 nautical miles. Shelling at a distance of 15 nautical miles can cause effective damage. It's just so far away, The small deviation of the muzzle will cause the bullet point to change in a wide range, so it needs to be continuously adjusted. It is a pity that the time is short, and there is no time to forge the second energy cannon. Recruitment of gunners also did not begin. Just make do with practice first. Anyway, the data is recorded there, and it will definitely not be wasted. After the subsequent gunners are in place, the training will be faster. While thinking about it, the island began to vibrate slightly, riding the wind and waves on the sea. On the other side, Lin, the owner of the lighthouse country, returned to the island with 2 ships under his command. They explored more than 40 nautical miles along the direction the fish and shrimp swam last night, but still found nothing. Not only that, but they encountered monster attacks and lost several sailors. But those were ordinary people, and Lin didn't take it to heart at all, and just gave some pensions. Returning to the island, Lin sat on the pier looking at the sea, feeling depressed. Could it be that he was looking in the wrong direction? But it showed an apostrophe T. The direction those fish and shrimp are heading must be the location of the mermaid. In the distance, 2 captains walked quickly. Lord Island Master, supplies and repairs will be completed in 2 hours. Are you still looking for it? Lin gritted his teeth. Look, you have to look. This time we set off in a different direction. The mermaid may have left the place. The captain suddenly looked embarrassed. In this vast sea, it is an impossible task to find an active mermaid. But after seeing Lin's gloomy face, the 2 could only reply loudly, yes. They came to the island world, but signed a contract. Lin's orders, they must obey. Drop. When the new information came, Lin looked at it with bitterness in his mouth. It's Richard. Bravely opened the message. Lin, have you found the whereabouts of the mermaid? Lin, Mr. Richard, not yet, but I'm already arranging to go out to sea for the 2nd time. This time I will give you a satisfactory explanation. Richard, it's better, otherwise you won't get half a cent of support from me. Lin, sir, I understand. Richard, you do it yourself. 35 Lin closed the chat bar, took 2 deep breaths, and yelled at the busy sailor, a bunch of slackers, give me some quickness, and go to sea in an hour. The sailors sped up. The island owner's temper is not very good. If he angers him, he may be thrown into the sea to feed sharks. There is no such thing. At this time, Lin had no idea at all that an island was driving towards him. And the mermaid he longed for was on the island. After scolding the sailor, Lin sighed in the sky and regretted it. If I knew earlier, I would not show off in the chat area. Although he received resource sponsorship from Richard and the consortium, he also took on the task of finding mermaids. In the vast sea, finding a mermaid is like looking for a needle in a haystack. Who knows where the other party swims to? An hour later, Lin set off again with 2 boats and dozens of meters of sailors. Then back in embarrassment. They were attacked by a shark, leaving only one of the 2 boats. Lin almost lost his life to Shaku and lost the courage to go out to sea again. The ocean of this island world is not a place that humans can set foot in. It's better to stay on the island. But Richard's scrutiny was dealt with. Lin rolled his eyes and decided to report good news instead of bad news. Initially found traces, is continuing to track, has contacted with the target, and the negotiation progress is gratifying. Lin lied all over the sky and temporarily stabilized Richard. Just when Lin was secretly proud, a water column dozens of meters high suddenly burst out on the sea in the distance. At the same time, the violent waves crashed, almost overturning the boats on the pier. What happened? Lin jumped up and cursed loudly. The people on the island were in chaos, and no one could answer Lin's question. In broad daylight, the ghost knows why the sea explodes. Lin took people to study by the sea for a long time, and even let people take the risk of kayaking to check the situation. But apart from the white-bellied sea fish, there was nothing to gain. However, the violent energy surge in that area can be sensed. Just don't know why. Lin was stunned. What a bizarre event. 2 minutes later, the water column erupted again on the sea. Only this time, it was much closer to the location of the island. Lin, who was splashed on his face by the waves, shouted at the top of his voice. Enemy attack. Advertisement. Chapter 138 begins shelling. Lin wasn't entirely sure if it was an enemy attack, because he hadn't seen the enemy yet. But it's always right to shout like that. It is mainly the manifestation of this water column, which is exactly the same as the explosion. Lin concluded. Someone was shelling from a distance. This conclusion is absurd, but Lin knows subconsciously that it is a fact. Is it not possible to use artillery in the island world? Lin hid behind cover and cursed loudly. Then his expression froze. He thought of another possibility. It is not the artillery of Blue Star, but the energy cannon of the Aborigines of the island world. Does that mean he was targeted by the Aborigines? Holy crap, how can this be good? Captain, where is the captain? Roll over for me. Lin cursed loudly. The captain hiding in the ditch in the distance turned pale. He knew why Lin called him. It is nothing more than letting him go out in a boat to find traces of the enemy. But because I know, I am even more afraid. With such a violent shelling, sailing out to sea is self-defeating. They didn't even see the shadow of the enemy. The other party must have launched artillery bombardment from 10 nautical miles away. As far as the speed of the ship on the island was concerned, it was blown away halfway. But the captain also knew that he had to go to sea, otherwise he would be in breach of contract, and at that time, his family would suffer bad luck. Resisting the fear, the captain rushed to the vicinity of Lin with the deputy captain and others, and said, "Islander, we are here." 35 Lin is very satisfied. Sure enough, the lighthouse country has never lacked warriors. Under this kind of artillery fire, the captains and the others still retain a high fighting spirit. Concentrating his mind, Lin pointed to the sea in the distance and said, "When the second explosion just now, I saw a black line flashing across, and you should look in that direction to determine the identity of the other party." After a pause, Lin continued, "If it's Aboriginal, then expressing our goodwill is a misunderstanding." The captain and others cursed in their hearts. Others are adjusting the ballistics, and they are still misunderstood. However, Lin is the owner of the island. What he said, the captain and others could only do as he did. They all agreed and ran to the pier. Boom. Another violent explosion. This time, the water column was only more than 1,000 meters away from the coast. The waves rushed in, and the strong wind blew down the plants on the shore. Lin was shocked and frightened inside. There is no doubt that the enemy is adjusting the trajectory. But the question is, how does the other party determine the drop point? Lin had already sent people to observe the heights of the island, but found no sign of the enemy. Enemies outside the field of vision. How to determine the bullet points of the artillery? This is something Lin can't figure out. Fortunately, not long after the third round of shelling, the ships on the pier left. Cheers erupted on the island, and everyone seemed to see hope. Lin is also looking forward to it. The trajectory is determined, and it deviates from the target point by 500 meters. Through the staged voice transmission of the Turtle team, and then analyzed and reported by Eleanor, the ballistic data of the shelling was sent back to the island in the shortest time. Auger and others immediately calculated it, and then informed Juan Menaiu of the parameters of the fourth shelling. Juan Menaiu adjusted the muzzle and then waited for charging. After a while, Eleanor came to the basement of the villa, found Sube, and reported, "The island owner, we have detected that the other party's ship has left the island. Whether it has sunk." Sube thought about it and said, "Keep it for now and let them bring the news back." The message Sube said was the flag hanging on his island. If Lin didn't see it, it would be a waste of his hard work. After thinking for a moment, Sube continued, "Report in real time to record the position of the ship," and after they confirmed the flag on the island, they drove them back. As ordered. Eleanor, resigned. Sube controls the heart of the island and opens the newcomer chat area at the same time. As expected, Lin was already crying. Lighthouse Country Lin, my island was bombarded. Lighthouse Country Richard, what, shelling? You read that right. Where did the artillery come from in the island world? The sun never sets. Elaine, Mr. Richard, did you forget about the energy cannon? Fusion Kingdom, Want Yanze Aoji, but only dwarves know the casting process of energy cannons. How did Lin get revenge with dwarves? Wasn't he still looking for mermaids before? Malbear Country, Morse, it must be Lin who angered the mermaid, and then the mermaid went to the dwarf for help. So the energy cannon appeared as Sangomilu, It's very possible. By the way, Lin, do you want some holy water to protect you from shelling Bang Tsigo Jin Yezi? Why is Mr. Lin injured? Not the cunning Longo people. I am not convinced Bang Tsigo and Mings. Yes, I am also not convinced Longo Wu Lekang. Get out of here, you bastards of the lighthouse country. You really don't want your face Longo Ling Zai Iong. I want to see, that is, Linen has done all the bad things and was retributed. The chat area was very lively, but after the island owner of Bangtsai Kingdom jumped out, the wind direction was a little skewed, and it became a space-to-air interaction between the island owners of all parties. As for Lin's shelling, not many people paid attention. It wasn't them who were bombed anyway. In this case, the fourth shelling was ready. After further correcting the parameters, this time, the nether energy cannon finally hit the edge of Lin Island. In an instant, the world changed color, and manic energy raged on the ground. When the energy fluctuations subsided, Lin was horrified to discover that there was a hollow on his island, with a diameter of more than 40 meters and a depth of nearly 20 meters. The soil there, along with the plants on it, disappeared, as if it had never existed. Lin's scalp was numb, and he sent the live photos to the chat area, and immediately pulled the wind back. After a trainee island owner checked the information in many ways, he came to a conclusion. This is the nether energy cannon attacking. Others have expressed their admiration, and it can be seen. The island owner was very modest, saying that he just read a few more books than others, and it was not a skill. The atmosphere in the chat area was once again harmonious. Lin was about to cry. I am bombarded by nether energy cannons here, and you are bragging about each other in business. Is there any reason for heaven? In the current situation, Lin can only pin his hopes on the captain he sent out. It would be great if they found each other successfully and resolved the misunderstanding. At this time, the captain, who had high hopes for Lin, was considering whether to run away with a bucket. But in the end, he held back and drove the ship at a high speed on the sea. Soon the sailors on the mast noticed something and shouted, "There is movement ahead." Sailors gathered to the edge of the deck to take a closer look. In the fog several miles away, a shadow appeared. The captain and first mate looked at each other. What is that? Boom. The dull shelling sounded, followed by a black line across the sea in an instant, flying towards the distance. The captain reacted immediately, and they found it. This is the one who made the artillery bombardment. This island? The first officer said tremblingly beside him. Ship, Captain, where did this island come from? I have never encountered it before. The captain was also a little confused. They had 2 boats before, and they often went out to sea to fish or investigate the surrounding situation, but they never knew that there was another island more than 10 nautical miles away from the island. But seeing is believing. The dark shadow in the distance is indeed the outline of the island. Even if there is fog, you can't go wrong. While thinking about it, the captain found that there seemed to be a flag flying on the island in the distance, and quickly adjusted the telescope, and then cursed loudly. Thick, gift crab. It's the flag of the country of Styx. I know, this is a moving island. The chief mate was stunned. Country of Styx? Move the island? Where did they come from, such high-end stuff? In addition, they have the courage to attack the island owner of the lighthouse country, so they are not afraid of being crushed to death in the Blue Star Garden. Could it be that the captain was wrong? However, after the first mate took the telescope to observe, he also burst into foul language. Fake. Really, a country of Styx? Advertisement. Chapter 139. The captain and first mate were shocked. Then the uncontrollable anger shot straight to the forehead. Although they are just ordinary people, they also know that in Blue Star, Bangtsai country is the sidekick of the lighthouse country. Now, the island of the country of Styx is actually shelling the island of the country of lighthouses. Did they eat bear heart and leopard gall? Who gave them courage? The captain immediately ordered, when you land on the island, you must let these unrepentant Styx know that they are attacking the island of the lighthouse country. The chief officer also agreed, and said gloomily, yes, we must make amends and make up for our losses. Just as the two were discussing, a few heavy water turtles quietly floated on the sea. Several jets of water then rose in front of the boat, blocking the way. The captain and first mate were so frightened that they almost jumped into the sea. They thought they were being targeted by artillery. But soon I saw the island in the distance, and several banners were raised. Languages vary. But the meaning is the same: leave quickly, or fire a gun. The captain twisted his nose with rage. He is the captain of the lighthouse country. When has he suffered such anger? And still by the gas of stick country. But the water column just now, the warning is obvious. If they continue to approach, the water column was coming towards them. This ship can't stop the attack at all, and there are no superpowers sitting on the ship, and there is only a dead end to move forward. Captain 623 said angrily, take pictures and video. You must record the evil deeds of these sticks, and report back to the island owner. The chief mate nodded again and again, and then arranged for the sailor to deal with it. After a while, the captain turned the boat and flew away with a full load of evidence. And this news also reached Subei's ears at the same time. Subei smiled and ordered to maintain the combat rhythm. He himself was diving and observing in the chat area, waiting for the moment when Lin broke the news. For this reason, he even sent an order to Zhuan Menaiu to ask her to deflect a little. But don't kill Lin En prematurely. It would not be fun. Zhuan Menaiu took the lead, adjusted the trajectory with the assistance of Olger and others, and blew the edge of Lin Island again. Lin En and the people on the island gradually saw the clue and ran to the heights one after another. At the same time looking forward to the return of the captain and others. After nearly 10 rounds of shelling, Lin finally saw the fast approaching ship on the sea, and she was moved to tears. The ship went straight to the pier, and after docking, the captain and first mate took the sailors to find Lin. Without waiting for Lin to ask, the captain said quickly, Islander, we were attacked by the country of the stick. What? Lin didn't react. This is nonsense. But soon, the first mate and the sailors handed over the evidence of the recording just now. Lin glanced at it, his expression somber as ink. It's just too deceiving. Lin shouted angrily, didn't you identify yourself? The captain said in his heart that I have to have a chance too. How dare they continue to move forward in the situation just now? They will die. But admitting one's own weakness is definitely not enough. You can only throw the pot out. The captain gave the first mate a wink. The first mate understood and said quickly, Islander, you don't know something. We showed our identity, but the other party ignored it at all, and threatened to fight the islander of the lighthouse country. 35 The latter sentence is completely free play of the first mate. If Subei was here, he would have to wonder if the goods were arranged by the special team, which is very sensible. When Lin heard the first mate's words, he couldn't bear it any longer and opened the chat area. Lighthouse country, Lin, at all members, I am Lin, and I use this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to inform all the island owners that the country of Bangtsai is not a human being. The compatriots of the lighthouse country, be careful of the stick, they are not trustworthy. Attachment The other apprentice island owners received the news, clicked the attachment with doubts, and then learned the whole story. The one who attacked Lin turned out to be the island of the Bangtsai kingdom. Outrageous. Isn't the stick a loyal lackey of the lighthouse country? How can he be so bold? And how they attacked. But soon, others found out. A moving island. Everyone was stunned. I see. No wonder the stick suddenly became fatter. With this kind of strategic weapon in hand, there is indeed no need to be afraid of the lighthouse country. The chat area was once again a sensation. Lighthouse country Richard, shameful. Too shameful. From the country of the stick, come out and give me an explanation. Lighthouse country, Haggai, yes. We must give us an explanation. Lighthouse country Milton, where did you, BHCF, come from to move the island, and where did the nether energy guns come from? Explain clearly. The sun never sets right. I am willing to provide shelter to the island owner of the Bangtsai kingdom. Please chat with me privately. It is stated in advance that this is a personal behavior and has nothing to do with the sun never setting. Malbare country West Hefter, me too. Please contact me quickly. Fuso country, Way Moritikuto, that Bangtsai island owner, you are so bold, aren't you afraid of causing trouble for Bangtsai country? Bangtsai country Jim Bajian, false accusation. This is a complete false accusation. We have never attacked the island owner of the lighthouse country, Bangtsai Kingdom in Yezi. Yes, we have always been good friends of the lighthouse kingdom. How could we do such a thing? This is definitely a conspiracy. Bangtsai Kingdom Lizut. This must be framed. No one would attack with a flag lighthouse country. Lin, am I directing and acting? Even if I blow up the island, I will frame you all Longo Baininran. That's right. Why should others give you such an opportunity to show your face? You can definitely win a lot of resources by making a name for yourself. Kangaroo country, Cromwell. This sentence is very reasonable. If I have mobile islands and nether energy cannons, I will definitely not hide them. Those consortiums will definitely come to show their hospitality when they know the news. It is not good to develop islands with resources. Why so much? The apprentice island owners thought for a moment and found it to be very reasonable. If they had this kind of strategic weapon in hand, they would definitely spread the word all over the world and strive for more resources. How can you give the opportunity to others? And before, Lin had already posted the tragic situation of his island in the chat area. It was really a heavy loss. In the place bombarded by the nether energy cannon, no grass grows. Even if it's acting, it won't be so ruthless. This is the foundation of self-destruction. To take a step back, the lighthouse country's troubles with looking for a stick don't need to be so troublesome. Just go over and scold. So the fact that Lin was attacked was not a lie. That is, the island owner of Bangtsai Kingdom is shelling from a distance. Some island owners express curiosity. Where did Bangtsai Kingdom get the mobile island? And there are nether energy cannons. These things are rare. The trend in the chat area has changed again. The apprentice island owners began to seek news from the island owner of Bangtsai country. The island owner of the lighthouse country even threatened to sanction the country of the stick. The mobile island and the nether energy cannon are not what the stick is qualified to have, and must be handed over. The island owner of Bangtsai country has no words to describe his suffering. They don't know. After Subei saw the movement in the chat area, he sneered, and immediately ordered the bombardment of the island to bury Lin. Soon, Lin jumped and cursed in the chat area. The chat area was very lively, and Blue Star was also affected. The news of an unknown island master of Bangtsai country bombarded the island master of the lighthouse country, Lin, and the news spread instantly. The forces of all parties did not even react. The stick hit the lighthouse. Did the sun come out from the west? How dare they? But the evidence is there, and it doesn't seem like a forgery. So the situation gets interesting. The personnel of the lighthouse country stationed in the country of sticks ran around and began to be held accountable. Bangtsai country is exhausted. One head and too big. They really don't know. Advertisement Chapter 140 Lin ran away. There are no secrets in the island world. Whether it is a trainee island owner or an official island owner, there is a chat area, as well as private messages from friends, and you can receive messages from thousands of miles away in an instant. Therefore, the news of the bombardment of the mobile island encountered by Lin quickly spread. All forces are watching the excitement. The lighthouse country claims to dominate the Blue Star and island world, and now they are being bombarded. If they don't do something, what kind of prestige is there to speak of? And it is not someone else who is shelling, but the island owner of Bangtsai Kingdom, which is even more intriguing. Bangtsai country is trying to make things happen. Of course, not everyone agrees that this is what the island owner of Bangtsai country did. But does it matter? Unimportant. It doesn't matter whether the Bangtsai country has been wronged or not, and the lighthouse country doesn't want to find out the truth. Using this to grab the benefits they want is the key. When such a big thing happened, it is not necessary to send more people to investigate. For the sake of safety, do the accompanying investigators have to bring some bodyguards? Not only those at the top, but also those at the bottom. After going back and forth, the country of the stick was firmly held in the hands of the country of the lighthouse, and could be pinched at will. Blue Star is very lively, and so is the island world. In the newcomer chat area, The people who eat melons opened their eyes and waited for the follow-up. The island owner of the lighthouse country and the island owner of the stick country interacted urgently and scolded each other from a distance. Some of the island owners of Bangtsai country jumped out and declared that the island was theirs. They played the flag and clamored to drive the lighthouse country out. As for whether they really want to regain their freedom, or whether they want to be a villain, it is unknown. Anyway, the chat area is very lively. The only person who felt the hustle and bustle here might be Lin. After all, everyone else is interacting with the keyboard, and he was really bombarded. On the other side, after Subei got the result he wanted, he immediately asked Zhuan Menyu to move the muzzle and start bombarding the island. Although Lin's island area is close to 2 square kilometers, it is not small. But being bombarded continuously, no one could stand it. The power of the nether energy cannon is placed there, even if it is a silver-level powerhouse. If it is hit directly, it will die on the spot. Not to mention Lin and his men. They could only hide and cover, shivering, and expect Lin to find a solution. What can Lin do? In addition to scolding Bang Tsigo in the chat area, he could only ask for help from the island owner of the lighthouse country he knew. But in this case, those island owners of the lighthouse country have no way to start. How can this be saved? Teleportation equipment was useless in the past. Lin and the others couldn't even get close to the other side's island. No matter how good the equipment was, it was useless. I am afraid that as soon as he shows up, he will be bombarded. Besides, even the nether energy cannon has been rectified on the opposite side. To say that there is no other power, a ghost will do. The island owners who had been chatting and laughing with Lin before acted like turtles, posing as if they were not at home. Even Richard was cowardly, not arrogant in the chat area. Facing a mobile island equipped with nether energy cannons, all the trainee island owners were drumming in their hearts. Also think about new questions. If they meet, how to deal with it. It's like just waiting to die. Even if the fleet is built with all its strength, but there is no energy cannon, it can only fight the landing battle. That is purely to deliver food, and the whole army is wiped out in the middle. Gradually, no one cared about Lin's life or death. Anyway, it was dead by default. The trainee island owners are concerned about how to make the island obtain the ability to move, and the source of the nether energy cannon. If these 2 points are clarified, doesn't it mean that they can also replicate the same record and be invincible in the island world? Not only prestige, but also infinite benefits. There are also island owners who speculate that Subei did it. After all, looking at all the apprentice island owners, only he has this ability. But if they say that they have no evidence, they don't dare to snap their hats indiscriminately. Mainly out of fear of reprisals. The chat area was so happy for a while, and when I turned back and was found by the mobile island, I really wanted to cry without tears. No one wants to be the second Lin. And after being bombarded for 2 hours, Lin found in desperation that he was at a dead end. The current situation is dead end. In the face of continuous shelling, let alone the development of the island, it is good luck not to be killed. Who knows where the next shell will land? Even ordinary people who couldn't survive in Blue Star would not come to this kind of place to ask for a living. If you can't recruit people, how can you talk about development? To say that I hope that the other party will take the initiative to withdraw. Lin thought it unlikely. The other party took the risk of exposure and took the initiative to attack. How could they leave after a few shots? If you don't kill them all, the opponent will never stop. If that's the case, then what else is there to say? Sell the plants on the island and bring a fortune back to Blue Star to become a rich man. Seeking flowers. In addition, this matter must be explained by Bang Tsigo, and no astronomical compensation will be given. This matter is not over. Lin was full of unwillingness, but he could only accept his fate. Lighthouse country. Lin, stick, you and I are at odds. After sending the message, Lin contacted Richard and sold all the plants on the island. Subsequently, Lin voluntarily gave up his identity as the island owner. In just an instant, the transmitted light enveloped everyone on the island. The island became a borderless land, and outsiders were not allowed to stay. Lin's encounter has aroused the same hatred of the island owner of the lighthouse country. The White House of the lighthouse country even spoke out one after another, saying that in order to get justice for Lin, the country must be sanctioned. The stick was dumbfounded. This is simply a disaster. The matter of Blue Star has nothing to do with Subei. He had just received news from Eleanor that there was a large-scale transmission on Lin's island, and the personnel above had all returned to Blue Star. Stop attacking. Subei gave the order and began to think about the follow-up. Lin ran away, which meant he could take over the island. It's just that after being bombarded by nether energy cannons, many lands have lost their vitality and have been eroded by nether energy. They have no use value and need to be cleaned up first. In addition, according to Subei's calculations, Lin must have taken all the valuables on the island before leaving. But it's not a big problem. The rest of the island is also very valuable. Subei controls the island close to Lin Island. 3 hours later, the two islands bordered, and Subei landed with everyone. As predicted, no grass remained on the island, not only special plants, but even weeds were removed. It's too clean. Subei couldn't help but complain. Then called Jiatu, and let it take the split body and the younger brother to clean up the area bombarded by the nether energy cannon. After thinking about it, Subei called Jewel Cat and Dog over again. On this island in Lin, there may be undiscovered treasures. Taking a step back, even if the Gem Cat didn't gain anything, it would be good if Og found the ore. The way is what you think is what you do. It was not 5 minutes before Augur walked out, and he ran back with his short legs and shouted excitedly, "Islander! There are mines underneath." At the same time, the Gem Cat also ran back and meow meow. It also found something. Advertisement Chapter 141 The Heart of Mineral Veins, Magic Iron Ore that will grow. Subei was very happy when Augur and Jewel Cat returned at the same time. But after they finished reporting, Subei discovered that it was the same place. In other words, the treasures found by the Gem Cat are in the veins. Subei asked, "Og, what mine is underneath?" Augur confidently replied, "It's magic iron ore." Subei had encountered magic iron ore before and forged thousands of magic iron arrows. However, apart from the previous shark group, there was no battle, and the magic iron arrow did not have much room to play. Now that he has encountered magic iron ore again, Subei feels a little pity. If the meteorite iron, it should be a beautiful thing. After gathering his thoughts, Subei calmed down. Anyway, he picked it up for nothing. Even if it is magic iron ore, as long as the total amount is enough, it is still a huge sum of money. Thinking of this, Subei asked, "How much is there in reserve?" 9. Augur excitedly said 627 and said, "Island owner, the scale of the magic iron ore this time is not small, at least more than 1,000 tons. 1,000 tons of magic iron ore is indeed not small in scale. At least for now, this is the case. After all, Subei's island is less than 10 square kilometers, and these magic iron ore are enough. But Subei was thinking of something else. The Gem Cat has also been found, and it overlaps with the location of the magic iron ore. Could it be said that there is also a peculiar existence similar to the star iron tiger and the magic iron ore? But it's not right either. Star iron tiger was born after the fusion of meteorite iron and the heart of the island. And the island's heart of this island was bound by Lin before, and it was impossible to fuse with magic iron ore. Subei looked at Jewel Cat. The Gem Cat meowed twice and described his discovery. There are energy fluctuations in the magic iron ore, and it is very regular. After listening to the description of the Gem Cat, Subei was puzzled at first, and then his eyes became brighter. Augur next to him also had the same expression. To be safe, Subei called Norden and the other dwarves over and asked them to investigate. When the survey work was over, everyone gathered together. Subei, can you be sure? Norden, there is more than 70% certainty that it is the heart of the mine. Subei, but how can the heart of mineral veins exist here? Augur, this is unknown. After all, the birth of this thing is full of uncertainty, and even our dwarves have not figured out the law. 35 Hubert, if it is the heart of the ore vein, then this magic iron ore will not be mined in a hurry. Let it continue to grow and become a real bonanza. Subei nodded. That's the truth. Being able to discover the heart of mineral veins here is something Subei never expected. But the 6 dwarves under his hand, together with the Gem Cat, came to the same conclusion after multiple perceptions, so it was basically not wrong. The heart of mineral vein can be regarded as a kind of magical ore. The specific effect is to promote the growth of ore veins. That's right, it is to let the veins grow. Over time, small veins will become medium and then large. However, the heart of the ore vein cannot be moved. Once it is mined, it will lose its original effect. Even if it is returned to its original place, it will not restore its effect. Basically, when the heart of the ore vein was born, it was bound to the surrounding ore veins. Right now, the magic iron ore on Lin Island has condensed the heart of the ore vein, which is undoubtedly a surprise. Judging from the fact that Lin ran so happily, he didn't find any magic iron ore underneath at all. Ogle pointed out why. The magic iron ore was buried too deep, and if it wasn't for Og's dwarf specialties, he wouldn't have been able to find it. As for Lin, it's even more impossible to find out. Taking a step back, even if Lin found out, I am afraid he would not choose to mine. It is too difficult to mine, so it is better to develop the island first. Along the way, the ore veins can continue to grow, which is a guaranteed profit. It was just bad luck that I met Subei. No matter what Lin had planned, it had already become a thing of the past. Glancing at the chat area, the island owner of the lighthouse country is still spraying each other with the stick. It's a pity that the main owner, Lin, is no longer there. He gave up his identity as the island owner and was unable to use the island world network. Subei dives and ignores it for a moment, to the heights to find the heart of the abandoned island. Half an hour later, Lin completed the cleaning of the island, and Subei decisively merged the two islands. When this fusion is over, the area of his island will officially exceed 10 square kilometers, which can be regarded as reaching a new milestone. Not long after sitting down, the news of Shen Qingling came. It's hard work. 35 Subei pretended to be confused, and replied, I'll just watch the excitement. What's the hard work? Shen Qingling, that's right. By the way, we have contacted some professional gunners you want, and we are going to the special affairs team in Zai, and we have time to take a look. Subei, thank you. Shen Qingling, you're welcome. There is one thing you need to pay attention to. In the sea area where Lin is located, many island owners are buying materials and equipment, preparing to build ships, and trying to connect with the mobile island. Subei, isn't this a useless effort? That island can move, and it will drive away at some point. Where can I find it? Shen Qingling, that's what I said, but I have to try it anyway, and there may be unexpected gains. But this time, I also lost the island owner who made a righteous shot. Now the lighthouse country and the stick country are in a lot of trouble in Blue Star, and they have already no time to trouble you. Subei, that being said, if I have the chance, I have to say thank you to people. Shen Qingling, tell me the truth. When did you turn on the ability to move the island? This is a question raised from a personal point of view, and has nothing to do with the special affairs team. The corner of Subei's mouth was smiling, but Shen Qingling couldn't contain his curiosity. But he wouldn't admit it, and quickly replied, what are you talking about? I don't understand very well. My signal is not very good here. Let's talk back. 995. When you're done, just close the chat bar. On the other end, Shen Qing gritted his teeth with aura, and his pretty face was slightly red. There is no saying that the signal is not good when chatting with friends. Find a reason and find a reliable one. This nasty guy really didn't have a single word of truth in his mouth. However, 2.5 can live longer in this way. Shen Qingling felt resentful but also a little relieved, and then put this matter behind her. Whether it was made by Subei or not, it doesn't matter. Everyone has their own answer. Anyway, the special team has been speeding up the action to collect the coordinates of the magical island, and more materials are also being sent to Zai. There is a company out there, with excellent products at fair prices, and an absolute conscience that must be supported. After a few hours, the island fusion was completed. Subei chose the direction, and went away. Time to go back to the original position. There is an ocean current area, and the products are more abundant. The most important thing is that there are many turtles, which helps Eleanor to form a larger turtle team. Just as they were sailing, News came from the Lin family sisters. They completed the final formulation of the explosive potion. Advertisement Chapter 142, Outbreak Potion. After receiving the news, Su-bei rushed to the alchemy room immediately. This was newly built 2 days ago, and was reserved for the Lin family sisters for the deployment test. With Alvina on the side to assist. The progress is also very fast. In fact, the first version of the explosive agent was completed as early as the day before yesterday, but according to the test, the effect did not meet the expectations. There is strength improvement, but the side effects are very large, and the weakening time is too long. Of course, there must be a market for it to be sold like this. But Su-bei, such a conscientious island owner, how could he do such a thing? He must keep improving and continue to adjust the formula. Definitely not because he wants to sell more leeks and cut more leeks. The Lin family sisters were also dissatisfied with the first version of the explosive potion, so they continued to improve it. When they bombarded Lin Island before, they didn't show up much, and they were concentrating on deployment. In fact, the entire island was very relaxed and comfortable during the previous battle. As far as long-range bombardment is concerned, how much pressure can it be? Mainly because Zhuan Menyu and Agar were busy and had to constantly adjust the 17 plays. There is Su-bei, who has been controlling the direction of the island from the basement. When the battle was over and the islands were fused together, there was good news from the Lin family sisters. The explosive machine has been improved several times and has basically achieved expectations. If you want to improve, you need to add more materials. That way the cost will be high, which is not in line with Su-bei's original intention. When they came to the alchemy room, the Lin family sisters came to greet him, and then brought Su-bei to the experimental table. On the table are 10 neatly arranged glass bottles containing dark red liquid. Even without picking it up, Su-bei can feel the energy in the liquid. Explosive potion, black iron top grade. After taking it, the strength will be greatly increased for 3 minutes, and then it will fall into a weak state. The best black iron medicine. The value is not low. It is also difficult for the sisters of the Lin family to be able to find out such a potion formula from an experimental diary. The key is to get it done. The two of them entered the company as pharmacology consultants, and they definitely had real facts. Collecting his thoughts, Su-bei looked at the potion in his hand and began to think about how to maximize his benefits. Drinking this thing, it can burst into amazing power in a short period of time. It can save lives in critical moments. But on the other hand, in normal times, this thing is placed as a decoration. Not all island owners are willing to pay big bucks. After all, everyone is lucky. After pondering for a moment, Su-bei asked, "How is the output of this explosive potion?" Lin Xiaoyun replied, "The formula has been determined, and mass production is not difficult. However, according to our tests, if it is prepared in Blue Star, the quality is only low-grade black iron, which is related to the environment and cannot be solved. With the deployment of fairies, it can be stabilized in the best black iron." Lin Xiaoyun took up the conversation and said, "The output of the former is calculated based on the scale of the company's equipment, and it is not a problem to produce 2,000 bottles per day. If it is prepared by the flower fairy, it will take half an hour to complete 1 bottle. 99 There are 10 flower fairies under Su-bei's hands in total, and if they are prepared, there will be 20 bottles of explosive potions in 1 hour. Taking into account the physical consumption, the output of at most 200 bottles a day. However, the flower fairy has to take into account the brewing of nectar wine, and it is estimated that the output will have to be halved. Su-bei didn't want to squeeze the flower fairies too much and deplete their state. It doesn't matter if the output of the explosive potion is low, but if the flower fairy goes wrong, it will be a big loss. In general, one side is a high-yield low-grade black iron potion, and the other is a low-yield black iron top-grade potion. Su-bei's choice is to have it all. The former is self-produced and sold at Blue Star, so there is no need to worry about sales. There are so many fighters in the Dragon Kingdom, each one prepares a bottle, and the order is enough to make the company work overtime. As for the explosive potions prepared by the flower fairy, they should save them first, and look for opportunities to cut the leaks of other island owners. With this in mind, Su-bei instructed, Send a copy of the recipe to Juan Menaiu and ask her to bring it back to Blue Star, and Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu will supervise the production. Relevant plant seeds are listed, and new areas are opened up on the side of the flower field for planting. As ordered. The Lin family sisters agreed. Afterwards, Lin Xiaoyun said, "Island owner, if the potion is produced in Blue Star, then in addition to the main ingredient must be the sunflower produced on the island. There are substitutes for the rest, which can be planted in Blue Star." Su Bei nodded. "I see, let Menaiu handle this matter together and build a plantation in Zai." 99 Lin Shui reminded, "Island owner, Blue Star is not very stable now, and the plantation needs defensive strength." Su Bei said, "Don't worry about this aspect. Menaiu brought back a group of scorching sunflowers before, and is cultivating new ability users, and they can be stationed at that time." The Lin family sisters said in unison, "The island owner is wise." After explaining some precautions, Su Bei left the alchemy room and sent a message to Shen Qingling. "My company is about to produce explosive potions of low-grade black iron. Is the special team interested?" 39 Blue Star's company produces 2,000 bottles of potions every day, so it must not be left in its hands, and it has to find a buyer. It is inconvenient to find Longo directly, the name is not right, and Su Bei doesn't know anyone. Fortunately, there is a special team. As soon as the message was sent, Shen Qingling replied, "What? The signal has recovered." 39 Obviously, she still has some resentment for Su Bei's escaping behavior just now. Su Bei could only pretend he didn't see it. He passed on a bottle of the best black iron explosive potion and said with 627, "This is the original version, and what Blue Star produces is a weakened version." 5 Shen Qingling's slight resentment disappeared immediately after seeing the explosive potion. She really did not see this man wrong. He can always bring surprises. Although the special team also has a similar formula and is constantly producing them, who would think that there are too many good things? It's a good thing that Su Bei is able to provide explosives in 2 sizes. The original version of the potion is exclusively used by the island owner and the power user, while the weakened version is handed over to the fighters of Blue Star, giving the best of both worlds. Shen Qingling sent a message again, "We all have it." Su Bei replied, "At present, I can only give you the weakened version. The output of the original explosive potion is too low. I need to store a batch first." Shen Qingling, also, "What is the output of the weakened version, and when will it be delivered?" Su Bei, 2,000 bottles per day, including equipment debugging, will start shipping in 3 days at the earliest. Shen Qingling, "The special affairs team is all-inclusive. How do I pay? Cash plus supplies?" Su Bei, "It's exactly what I want. You sent someone to the company to find Zheng Wen to connect with him. I will inform him." Shen Qingling, "Okay. If the original explosive potion is sold in the future, don't forget the special affairs team." Su Bei, "Definitely." Turning off the chat bar, Su Bei saw Eleanor approaching from a distance. "Islander, I found the information of my companion." Advertisement: If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 143, Eleanor's Companion. Eleanor is a mermaid. She appeared on Su Bei's island because she was swept away by the ocean current and drifted with the sharks. Mermaids will not give up any of their companions. Eleanor's disappearance must have sparked a search for other mermaids. It's just that in the vast sea, it is not so easy to find it in a short time. Eleanor sang the song of the siren yesterday, which not only spread the buzz among the trainee island masters, but also spread the news to the Aborigines. Her companions may have received the news, and they also sent out their own signals, wanting to resonate with Eleanor. Now, Eleanor received the news and reported it to Su Bei as soon as possible. Su Bei pondered for a moment, then said, "It is true that you should let your companions know about your situation, so as to reassure them." Eleanor's expression was a little hesitant, but most of my companions don't trust humans, and I'm worried that they will be detrimental to the island owner. This is a problem. Eleanor's loyalty is system locked. Although Sube is very confident in the system, it should not be discovered by outsiders. But I can't stand others being unreasonable. Mermaids are one of the strong races in the island world. They are gentle but very arrogant and rarely deal with humans. As for allegiance to the human island master, it is also very rare. And they are all of those powerful senior island owners. Sube's current level is not high, and the development of the island has just started. It is basically unrealistic to want to obtain the allegiance of the mermaid. Maybe this will make Eleanor's companions suspicious and cause unnecessary trouble. Even Sube doesn't want to conflict with the mermaid clan. But the paper can't contain the fire. The news of Eleanor on the island will be known to the mermaid family sooner or later. This question is something Sube will face sooner or later. It just came early. Concentrating his mind, Sube said, I believe that your companion will not be black and white. Eleanor looked sad. I hope so. Then, Eleanor said firmly, Island owner, rest assured, I will definitely stand by your side, even if the battle is no longer at the expense of 5. Sube waved his hand. It hasn't gotten to that point yet. You have to have confidence in your companions. 35. But no matter how persuaded, Eleanor is a firm look. After thinking for a moment, Eleanor said, Islander, let the leader of Avina come forward together. After my companions see it, they will definitely believe in the islander's behavior. It is definitely not a bad person to be able to obtain the allegiance of the flower fairy. Facing Eleanor's sincere gaze, Sube coughed twice and said, I think so too. Eleanor said goodbye and left, ready to answer the call of her companions. Sube called Avina over and said, how to avoid a fearless battle when a mermaid comes over to find Eleanor. Avina said, Islander, don't you have the token of Admiral Seika? Take that thing out. The mermaid family will not say how polite they are. At least they won't go to war with you. Sube patted his forehead. He forgot about it. Having said that, Admiral Seika's strength is not strong, and he was beaten by a knife for a second, but the effect he played after his death was quite large. After the shark Lulu saw the token, his attitude became very respectful and friendly. When the shark group was about to arrive, he did not forget to help. This time, Avina said that it can improve the relationship between him and the mermaid. Sube couldn't help but complained, I knew that Seika was made into a specimen and placed on the island. Unexpectedly, Avina nodded in agreement and said, the island owner has a good idea. In fact, it should be done, but it doesn't need to be so troublesome. Just leave your head. 5. Avina explained, this is a proof of beheading a strong enemy, and it is a kind of honor, and many people have the habit of keeping the enemy's head. Sube thought about it, and it seemed to be the truth. Anyway, there are many places on the island, and it is not a big problem to set up a showroom specially. But it always felt a little awkward. In any case, Avina's words made Sube initially relieved, and then he found the token of Admiral Seika and put it in his pocket. The island moves on, and a day later, returns to its previous area of currents. Before reaching the initial area, Eleanor's companions came first. It was 3 mermaids, riding chariots driven by floating seahorses, rushing from the sea in the distance. There is also Lulu the shark. Your Excellency Sube, I haven't seen you for a few days. Your island is getting bigger and bigger. The merman Lulu spoke first, and then introduced, these 3 are Captain Yvette and her 2 team members, Nye and Doreen, who are here to find Lord Eleanor. It can be seen that Lulu the shark is very nervous. However, he was still trying his best to keep the situation stable. Sube nodded secretly, this mermaid can handle it. The 3 mermaids got off the chariot, their tails turned into legs, and landed on the island. However, he did not put down the trident in his hand, obviously with a certain degree of vigilance. Sube observed secretly. Among the 3 mermaids, Yvette actually has a silver senior, while Nye and Doreen also have a silver junior. This strength lineup can be called luxurious. While Sube was watching, Yvette was watching him. Then he looked at Eleanor next to him. His eyes softened a little. Eleanor stepped forward and said happily, Captain Yvette, why are you here? 35 Of course it's me, other people can't find you, Yvette finished, and asked pointedly, Eleanor, are you alright? 95 Eleanor asked back, what can I do? The island owner is very kind to me, and the other people on the island are also very kind. While speaking, Avina brought the flower fairies forward. Avina said, friends from afar, it's a pleasure to meet you, my name is Avina, and I am the leader of the flower fairies on the island. 99 The three of Yvette returned their salutes. Head Avina, it's an honor to meet you. Although the flower fairy and the mermaid live in different environments, they have a good relationship. It is mainly nectar wine brewed by flower fairies, and it is very popular among all ethnic groups. After seeing the flower fairies such as Avina and Katie, Yvette's eyes subsided a lot, but there were still some. Sube is not surprised. This is the attitude of the normal Aboriginal people when they see the human island owner. To be honest, Wang Zhaozhao can have such an attitude. It is the result of the efforts of those pioneers in the past 100 years. When humans first discovered the island world, they fought a lot with these aborigines. It got better later. Collecting his thoughts, Sube took out Admiral Seika's token from his pocket and said, I have something. I hope Captain Yvette can see it. When Yvette saw the result, she almost jumped up in shock. Admiral Seika's token. This is her old enemy. She has fought several times, but every time she can't completely defeat the opponent. As a result, Seika's token actually appeared in the hands of this human being. When he thought about it again, the words of the merman Lulu's assurance, Yvette said subconsciously, human, it is you who killed the Sea General Seika? But, how is it possible? In the face of Yvette's question, Sube didn't say much, but held his breath for the sea. Then the knife light flashed. Dan Wu, Destroying Demon Slash. Advertisement. Chapter 144, Yvette is in a mess. Yvette looked at the split sea. Messy. What did she see? Dan Wu destroys the demon. The signature skill of the demon slayer. However, how long has the inheritance of the slaughtering warriors been cut off? And why did it appear on this human being for no reason? But the residual energy fluctuations in the air cannot be faked. Although Yvette has not seen the demon slayer warrior with her own eyes, she also knows some characteristics. According to the comparison of energy fluctuations, the fact was quickly confirmed. The human being in front of him has really obtained the inheritance of the demon slayer warrior. A. Rao is Yvette with high-level silver strength, and is the captain of the mermaid patrol team. In the face of this situation, he suddenly became confused. That slash of heavenly martialism and demon extermination broke her heart. This matter is beyond what she can handle. Shocked, Yvette even forgot the scolding word she thought up on the way. There was only one thought in my head. The demon slayer reappears in the island world, and she will report this matter to the queen. If Eleanor hadn't been here, Yvette would have taken Nyan Doreen back the same way. And Sube nodded secretly after seeing Yvette's performance. The advice that Avina gave was really useful. As soon as Dan Wu slayed the demons, he immediately stunned the scene. Cough, cough. Sube cleared his throat and said, 3 people, you are guest 627 from afar, you are Erinuo's companions, that is, my friends. You might as well rest for a while before discussing other things. Eleanor, also persuaded, yes, Captain Yvette, I will show you my turtle team. 39 Turtle Squad? Yvette didn't take it to heart at all, thinking that it was Eleanor who was bored to pass the time. However, after confirming the safety of Eleanor and seeing the Dan Wu demon slayer, Yvette felt that it was indeed necessary to rest for a while. This news is really shocking. She needs to slow down. Nyan Doreen also had the same expression. They were even more shocked than Yvette. The 3 mermaids were dragged by Eleanor to the artificial lake in a daze. The sights along the way made Yvette tsk amazed. If she remembered correctly, the humans who came to the island world this year have only been here for about 10 days. And this island has grown to such a scale. When leading the way, Eleanor played a careful trick and turned around in the middle of the island. Yvette was even more surprised. Mist Tree, Blood Spirit Fruit Tree, Storm Strawberry, Blackbird Indus. The variety of plants on the island is beyond Yvette's imagination. And the quality is also surprisingly high, and what is commonly seen in peace is not 1 bhcf level at all. Coming to Eleanor's artificial lake, Yvette admitted that she was sour. It's also too spacious. Such an artificial lake belongs to Eleanor. Yvette didn't have this kind of treatment in mermaid territory. You must know that she is the captain of the patrol team, with the strength of Silver Senior. And Eleanor is only a Bronze Senior. As a result, the treatment of the two sides is completely incomparable. In other words, Yvette has a calm nature, otherwise her mentality will be out of balance. Eleanor brought 3 mermaids to the artificial lake, and then called the turtle team over as if offering treasures. 32 by Tau heavy water turtles appeared together, and the visual effects were full. Although they all add up, they are not enough for Yvette to beat with one hand. But the lineup looked intimidating. Yvette counted and said in shock, "Eleanor, you tamed these heavy water turtles?" Eleanor raised her head proudly. "Yes, this is my turtle team." Naya, who was watching silently next to her, couldn't help but said, "But with your strength, you shouldn't be able to control so many heavy water turtles." 5 Doreen nodded in agreement. Their mermaid clan will tame sea creatures, which is true. But the problem is that Eleanor's turtle team is a little bigger than expected. Where's the squad? It can be called a squadron or even a brigade. Eleanor was very proud, but thinking of Subei's advice, she could only swallow the bragging words, waved the turtle team to go back to rest, and instead asked, "Captain Yvette, when are you going to go back?" 99 Speaking of business, Yvette put aside her other thoughts and said solemnly, "Eleanor, have you encountered any unfair treatment here?" 99 and Doreen were also on guard, posing as if they were ready to strike. Eleanor quickly waved her hand and said, "Don't get excited, the island owner is not a bad person. If it wasn't for him, I would have been buried in the mouth of a shark." Immediately afterwards, Eleanor said what happened before. Yvette grasped the key points sharply and asked, "The blister barrier you condensed was smashed by a punch?" "Yes," Eleanor nodded and said, "at that time, the level of the island owner was only the top of black iron, but he easily shattered my barrier and carried me back to the island." Naya murmured, "That guy's attack is so ignorant." Eleanor's ears were sharp, and she heard it at once, and said a little unhappily, "The situation was urgent at that time, and the island owner was forced to do that." Yvette looked at Eleanor up and down, and said, "Eleanor, you seem to admire that human being very much." Eleanor admitted generously, "Yes, the character and strength of the island owner are worthy of admiration. His strength is unfathomable, and he is a strong man worth following." 5 Hearing this, Yvette subconsciously wanted to refute. But thinking of the token he just saw, Yvette fell silent again. The black iron rank killed the silver rank, and it was the long-established naval admiral Seika. She can't do it. Even if the human has the inheritance of the demon slayer warrior, it can't quite explain it. The rank gap is too big. Maybe he has some hidden abilities. Yvette felt distraught. She originally thought that Eleanor was kidnapped or killed, and she was ready to fight. When the results came, she found that things were much more complicated than she had imagined. To say how complicated it really is, it's not. Mainly, Yvette found that she couldn't see through Subei at all, which was the source of her upset. Yvette slowly swam in the artificial lake and began to think about countermeasures. Eleanor didn't say anything to interrupt, but chatted with Naya and Doreen next to her, asking about the latest situation. She has been out for several days, and she is also very concerned about the situation of her home. Naya thought for a while and said, "It's nothing too special, but the wood elves that have trade with us, their caravan did not come. It is said that the warehouse was bombed." Eleanor thought of the horned eagle cubs on the island and didn't know what to say. The island owner had mentioned this to her before, guessing that there was a problem with the wood elves, and it turned out that the warehouse was really bombed. However, the wood elves have a big business, and losing something is not a big deal, so Eleanor didn't ask any more questions. After a few chats, a muffled sound spread throughout the island. Then came faint cheers. Yvette swam over quickly and asked nervously, "Why do I feel the energy cannon fluctuations?" Eleanor said casually, "Yes, Uncle Augur and the others are casting energy cannons. This should be the second nether energy cannon being tested. Yvette was startled. Ghost cannon? What is the situation on this island? How come there are even nether energy cannons? Also, the dwarves are even here. Is this a human island or a gathering place for their aboriginal people? Advertisement Chapter 145 The Will of the Island World. Originally, Augur and the others also wanted to meet Yvette and the others together. It's just that the casting of the nether energy cannon has reached the final stage and can only be given up. Now that the nether energy cannon is being tested, the energy fluctuations are immediately noticed by Yvette. After knowing the details, I almost started thinking about you saying what happened to this island. There are even dwarves. But it doesn't look like there is a mine here, and they can stay there. Yvette said immediately, take me to see. Naturally, Eleanor would not object and lead the way. All the way to the high battery. Yvette was even more surprised when she saw Augur and his party. She originally thought that there were only 1 or 2 dwarves on the island, but she did not expect that there were 6. Captain, Yvette, you are welcome. Augur and others greeted while debugging the nether energy cannon. Yvette didn't care about this. Dwarves are the character. Eleanor introduced them in the middle and introduced them to each other. After a while, Augur and others finished debugging and retreated to the side, looking at Sube with expectant eyes. Islander, it's time for you to take action. Yvette didn't know why. However, the frenzy in Augur and Norton's eyes made Yvette secretly startled. What magical power does this human have that can make the dwarves so convinced? Sube stepped forward calmly and ordered directly in his heart. Refresh. The system is also very competitive, giving Sube a purple epic entry, diffusion, epic level, reducing the cohesion of energy bombs, thereby greatly increasing the explosion range. There are pros and cons to this term. But more conducive to mowing. Considering the main attack target of the nether energy gun, it is definitely a positive improvement. Fixed. Ding, the entry has been fixed. At the same time, Yvette was surprised to find that the nether energy gun seemed to have changed differently. But exactly how, she couldn't say. Augur and the others were very calm. After stepping up again to confirm that there was no problem, he asked, Islander, are you firing a cannon? 35 The newly cast nether energy cannon must be tried, and the effect of the diffusion entry must also be tested. After pondering for a moment, Sube pointed to the sea in the distance. Fight there. Then, he looked at Yvette. In order to avoid accidental injury, I also asked Captain Yvette to take action to drive away the marine life in that area. Yvette nodded. It should be so. Yvette is a silver senior with very strong strength. He came to the shore in the blink of an eye, and the magic wave was transmitted in the water, dispersing all nearby marine creatures. Then go back to the top. She wants to see with her own eyes how this nether energy cannon is different from the energy cannons in their territory. Mermaids also have energy cannons, but they never use nether energy cannons, but water energy cannons. Essentially it's all the same. In theory, that should be the case. But Yvette always felt that the nether energy cannon in front of him was a little different. Juan Menaiu was in charge of this nether energy cannon test. Before bombarding Lin Island, she had accumulated rich experience, and she was able to fight wherever she wanted. After waiting for the energy and the gun barrel to finish accumulating, Juan Menaiu pressed the bombardment button. The energy bomb flashed through the air and hit the sea hundreds of meters away in an instant. Boom. The sea burst, and the water column rose into the sky. However, it is significantly different from the previous nether energy cannon. The height of the water column has decreased, but the diameter has increased a lot. This is also the effect of diffusion entries. The damage intensity of shelling is reduced, but the range of action is greatly increased, so that more miscellaneous soldiers can be killed. When bombarding Lin Island before, if it was this nether energy cannon, it is estimated that he ran faster. Augur and others immediately began recording data. Then report the summary. Islander, this gun is no problem, it has met expectations, and even its performance has exceeded a little. The crowd applauded. With a big wave of his hand, Sube said, keep on working hard and build the remaining energy cannons as soon as possible. Island owner rest assured and promised to complete the task. The test work of the nether energy gun will continue for a period of time to ensure that it is foolproof. Leaving Zhuan Menyu, Augur and others to continue the test, Su Bei left with the others and headed to the villa's living room. It's time to talk to Yvette and the others. When they came to the living room, they took their seats in order. As the island owner, Su Bei spoke first. "Captain Yvette, how is my island?" Yvette pondered for a moment, then said truthfully, "Looking at the entire island world, you are not in the flow, but as a newcomer, your island is absolutely unparalleled in the world." 5 Very fair assessment. Su Bei nodded. These are inseparable from the joint efforts of all the members. After some business talk, the topic shifted to Eleanor. Yvette began to attack. "Your Excellency Su Bei, Eleanor is our clan, and the ocean is her home. Can we bring her back, so that the queen can be at ease?" Su Bei has asked before. Eleanor and the Mermaid Queen are not directly related. She is just an ordinary mermaid. For flowers. Yvette carried the queen out, just to put pressure on Su Bei. Su Bei was calm and replied, "Captain Yvette, I have never restricted Eleanor's freedom. She wants to leave. I will never stop her." Eleanor nodded in agreement and pointed out the differences. The island owner not only did not restrict her, but also gave her stronger power. Speaking of this, Yvette's eyes flashed and she asked calmly, "Your Excellency Su Bei, there is one thing I care about." Su Bei reached out, "Please speak." Yvette's eyes lit up. Eleanor's ability has become stronger, which is not the case before. The nether energy cannon has also undergone unknown changes. Besides that, everything on the island looks a little different. I really want to know, why is that? Yvette asked this question, and Su Bei was not surprised. On the contrary, it would be strange for her not to ask. The mermaid captain must be curious. However, Eleanor and others followed Su Bei's instructions carefully and did not disclose any information. Yvette looked calm on the surface, but she was actually very curious. Now that I have finally found an opportunity, it is natural to ask to understand. Su Bei replied, "Captain Yvette said that it was my special ability that I woke up when I came to the island world. Maybe it was a gift from the island world." True and false, false and true. This sentence was repeatedly scrutinized by Su Bei, and it could bluff Yvette to the greatest extent. The aborigines of these island worlds have always believed that there's a supreme will in the island world, and they take everything. Su Bei hides the system in it without any flaws. Because it's a fact. The system was only awakened after Su Bei came to the island world, even if Yvette sent people to Blue Star to investigate. The previous Su Bei was just an ordinary person, not much different from other newcomers. His real rise started when he came to the island world. There is no problem at all by directly pushing the cause to the will of the island world. A very mysterious answer, but it is most in line with the way of thinking of the aborigines. Sure enough, after hearing Su Bei's answer, Yvette hesitated. She instinctively did not believe this statement. But thinking of Su Bei's slaying samurai heritage, Yvette couldn't fault it. If it wasn't for the will of the island world, how could this human be able to obtain the top inheritance that has been cut off for a long time? In that case, everything makes sense. Advertisement Chapter 146 Stay. Yvette's expression was unpredictable, apparently entering into a fierce ideological struggle. Su Bei did not urge, but drank tea calmly. Here is his turf, with home court advantage. There was no doubt that Yvette would convince herself of what he gave. After a while, Yvette raised her head and said seriously, "Your Excellency Su Bei, I have a request, and I also ask your honor." Su Bei put down the teacup. "Captain Yvette, don't be so polite. I said before, you are from Eleanor's clan, so you are my friends. If you need any help, just ask." "Thank you for your kindness," Yvette thanked and continued, "I want to stay on the island. I don't know if it is convenient." 35 Nyan Doreen, who were behind Yvette, were shocked and said eagerly, "Captain." Yvette waved her hand, indicating that the two of them should not talk too much. She had her own measure. In fact, Yvette's intentions, Su Bei can see with his eyes closed. 630 is nothing more than feeling that hearing is false and seeing is true. If he stays on the island, he will be able to see through his secrets sooner or later. No matter how bad it is, it can ensure that Eleanor will not continue to be deceived. At least in Yvette's view, it is. For Sube, Yvette's move made no sense. Even if she wandered around the island for 100 years, she would not be able to discover the existence of the system. However, on the bright side, Sube still maintained his demeanor and said with a smile, "Why not? It is my honor that Captain Yvette is willing to be a guest on the island." 35 Yvette replied, "Your Excellency, you don't need to call me Captain in the future, just call me by my name." After finishing speaking, Yvette looked at Nye and Doreen and instructed, "I can't go back for the time being, and I can't continue to serve as the patrol captain. First, Nye will take over the position of captain temporarily, and after returning to the territory to report the situation, the Queen will decide." 35 This time it was Nye and Doreen's turn to be distraught. It was good when he came, but after a few words, the captain didn't want to go back. Outrageous. Eleanor was also a little surprised, but soon relieved. Not only that, but also very happy. Captain Yvette is willing to stay, then she will sooner or later perceive the advantages of the island owner. This can be their new home. Thinking of this, Eleanor said happily, "Captain Yvette, you will absolutely love this island." "Hope so." Yvette said lightly, keeping an eye on Sube out of the corner of her eye, trying to see the clue from his expression. But Yvette was disappointed, and Sube's expression didn't change. As if everything was under control. Yvette's heart moved. Could it be that her request was also expected by the other party? Vaguely, Yvette felt as if she had jumped into the pit on her own initiative. But what he saw and heard before made Yvette discover the difference of this island. If you stay on this island, you will definitely gain something. Just as Yvette was thinking about it, Nye and Doreen also recovered from their shock, and they looked at each other and made a decision. "Captain, we're not leaving either." "Yes, when we come together, we should go back together." Afterwards, Nye looked at the merman Lulu and said, "Your Excellency Lulu, please help us bring the news back to the mermaid territory." 39 The merman Lulu was already messy at this time. The development of things really caught him off guard. But think about it. These three mermaids are here to find Eleanor and bring her back. As a result, Eleanor is now determined to stay on the island. Then Yvette and the others wouldn't be able to leave. They definitely wanted to stay here to persuade Eleanor to change her mind. Thinking of this, the merman Lulu nodded and said, "I will definitely bring the news." An imperceptible smile appeared at the corner of Sube's mouth. Well, these three mermaids are his now. In fact, things don't have to be so troublesome. Sube can directly fix the entry, and he can also keep Yvette and the others. But the crux of the problem lies in the identity of Yvette and the others. Unlike Eleanor, Yvette and the three of them belong to the Mermaid Patrol and have connections with the Queen. Sube will not rush to fix the entry when the situation is not clear. Don't just fix the entry here, and the Mermaid Queen there will notice the problem. That's trouble. Facing the Mermaid Clan, Sube couldn't stand it. Therefore, it is necessary for Eleanor to obtain information, confirm that there is no problem, and then Sube will make another move. It will take a while, but stability is the most important thing. Anyway, Yvette and the others stayed on the island and couldn't figure it out. Thinking of this, Sube said decisively, "The three of you are willing to stay. Of course I am very welcome, and my promise is also here. When you want to leave, just go, I have nothing to say. In addition, I am going upstream along the ocean current to explore the wider world, and it will be easier for you and Eleanor to meet the clansmen." 99 The three of Yvette were silent for a moment, stood up and saluted, and said solemnly, "Thank you for your kindness." Sube waved his hand, saying you're welcome. Because it was in his plan. Even if Yvette and the others don't come, Sube is ready to move forward. Now it's a crooked fight. Afterwards, Sube ordered to go down and prepare a banquet to welcome the three of Yvette. The atmosphere on the island became harmonious. The Earth Spirit and its younger brothers started busy, expanding the artificial lake. With this expansion, the area of the artificial lake has reached 1 square kilometer, doubling directly. Fortunately, Lynn Island has just been integrated before, and there are many open spaces. At a time when other island owners tried their best to add more land, Sube was able to come up with such a large area to build an artificial lake, which is a big deal. However, it is absolutely not a loss to keep Yvette, the three mermaids. You must know that Yvette, Naya, and Doreen are all silver level, and Yvette has even reached the silver level. They are able to tame silver class sea creatures. Even if there is no entry like Sea Covenant, it can still make the island's defense system reach a new height. The merman Lulu drove the floating seahorse chariot and left. Without this thing, he could not enter the mermaid territory at all. And the speed is not fast enough. It may hang up in the middle of the road. Yvette asked the merman Lulu to carry the message, instead of letting him go on an expedition. It was a pity that the seahorse chariot was not left, but Sube didn't care too much. As long as Yvette and the others are still around, it is not difficult to rebuild a chariot, just tame the new floating seahorse. After a while, Juan Menayu, Augur and others returned. They completed the test of the second nether energy cannon, and the results were very gratifying. After hearing that Yvette and the others were going to live temporarily on C2.5 Island, they were also very welcome. While the others were preparing for the banquet, Sube and Juan Menayu discussed recruiting gunners. Shen Kingeling mentioned before that the special team found some candidates to go to Zai, waiting for Sube to choose. But because of the mermaid, it was delayed. Now that the second nether energy gun has also been cast, it's time to recruit professional gunners. No matter how professional Juan Menayu is, after all, there is only one person who can't let her control 8 energy cannons at the same time. Speaking of this matter, Juan Menayu immediately reported the situation and said, "Island owner, the people the special affairs team has been looking for have already assembled in Zai, and the Zheng brothers have been there to contact them, and there is no problem. However, the specific candidates are still up to you." Decided. 9 Sube nodded, "Since that's the case, let's go back to Blue Star now, and we're almost ready for the banquet." After explaining a few words, Sube and Juan Menayu started teleportation and returned to Blue Star. Advertisement Chapter 147 The special team is too good at doing things. When I came to Blue Star again, I clearly felt that the scale of the place had expanded. Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu sensed the movement and rushed over. See, the island master. The Zheng brothers were very excited. They were in charge of the company, and it was too difficult to meet Sube. But they have no complaints. Zheng Wen Huai reported, "Island owner, the debugging of the explosive drug equipment has been completed, and the first batch of drugs has been packaged." 35 Zheng Wu went on to say, "Island owner, the company has purchased wasteland in the suburbs of Zai, and plans to open up a plantation to supply the raw materials needed for the explosive agent." 5 Sube nodded with satisfaction, "Good job." The Zheng brothers immediately said humbly that this is all the credit of the island owner and also the overall planning of Juan Menayu. They are just running errands. Juan Menayu interjected, "Island master, the first batch of ability users to awaken using the blazing sunflower have been assembled. Do you want to summon them now?" Speaking of these power users, Sube didn't plan to let them go to the island, so he didn't come back to refresh the fixed entries. However, as the boss, I always have to meet my younger brother, and immediately waved and said, "All are called in 17." Juan Menayu informed her, and soon, 6 young people walked in, both male and female. After seeing Sube, all of them were excited and saluted, "Meet the island owner." Sube glanced at it and refreshed the entries for all 6. Then he looked at the capable man at the head and asked, "What's your name?" This young man has refreshed a rare entry. Searing heat, rare level, increases the effect of fire-type abilities by 80%. The properties are average, but better than nothing. The young man immediately replied, "Back to the island owner, my name is Jiao Hong." "Good name, you will be the captain in the future." As Sube spoke, he chose a fixed entry. This new psychic team is going to guard the plantation and needs a captain. Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu need to continue to sit in the company and cannot leave easily. Among the current 6 people, Jiao Hong's entry is the best, and it is simply fixed. Jiao Hong's body was shaken, and she felt the unknown power flowing in her body, And then she said loudly, "Thank you the island master for the reward." The island owners have extraordinary power, which everyone knows. Jiao Hong only regarded this as the power that Su Bei awakened in the island world, and was full of gratitude. The other 5 looked very envious. They can feel that Jiao Hong's strength has improved a lot, and he has left them 8 streets away. After chatting for a while, Zhuan Minyu checked the communicator and then whispered, "Island Master, they are here." 99 What Zhuan Minyu said was naturally a professional gunner recruited by the Special Affairs team. Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu saw this and immediately retire with Jiao Hong and others. Before long, more than a dozen women walked into the office. Su Bei was stunned and looked at Zhuan Minyu. Zhuan Minyu explained, "This is arranged by the Special Affairs team." Su Bei said in his heart that the special team had positioned him as a rogue, and even professional gunners were looking for women. But what can I say, it feels good. At least it looks pleasing to the eye. After pondering for a moment, Su Bei said, "This time, I will bring 4 people back. Now there are only 2 nether energy cannons on the island, and it is not appropriate to bring more back. In addition, Su Bei's entry is only fixed 9 times a day, and he just used it once. Considering that there were still 3 vets on the island, they had to stay for 3 emergencies, so this time I brought 4 gunners back, just in time to practice. More than a dozen gunners had no objection. This reflects their professionalism, obeying orders and listening to commands, not just vases. Refresh. More than a dozen people refreshed, and a large number of entry light balls appeared in Su Bei's field of vision. The fly in the ointment is that the highest grade is only the excellent grade, and there is no epic grade. However, Su Bei is also used to it. The randomness of the entries is too large, so try to choose the right one. High accuracy, heavy gunner, ammo enhancement, range strike. The 4 excellent level entries can all be beneficial to the battle. Su Bei left 4 people, let the others go down to rest, and then directly fixed. Zhuan Minyu also found out the information about the 4 of them and handed it to Su Bei. Ding Sina, Rong Nai and Bai, Kong Yenarong and Han Liu were the names of the 4. Through inquiries, it was learned that Ding Sina and several other teammates were all children selected by the Special Affairs team from the slums and received professional training since childhood. Even if they were not chosen by Su Bei to go to the island this time, they would join the Dragon Kingdom's fighting force and become professional gunners. Or accept secret missions, become mercenaries, and be active in the front line of battle. Su Bei nodded secretly. It seems that the special team is well prepared. Moreover, the authority is also very high, and it can actually do such a thing. Fortunately, at this stage, his relationship with the special team is quite harmonious. Su Bei believes that with the potential he has shown, as well as the incident of Lin being bombarded 2 days ago, the combination of these factors will make the special team pay extra attention to him. This is both a burden and an opportunity. Opportunity to obtain additional resources from the task force. Restraining his mind, Su Bei added Ding Sina and the others to the island residence. Then Zheng Wen and Zheng Wu were called to explain the precautions, mainly Jiao Hong's training work. Jiao Hong is now his own, so he can give him some resources and upgrade his level as soon as possible, so as to better control the Sunflower team. The Zheng brothers repeatedly agreed, promising to complete the task. Immediately, Su Bei returned to the island with Zhuan Minyu and others. At this time, the preparations for the banquet were coming to an end, and everyone gathered in the open space in front of the villa. Considering that the number of people on the island has also increased, Su Bei simply built a garden in front of the villa, and had nothing to do with barbecue buffets. 6:30 is like this banquet, it is just used. As soon as the 4 of them landed on the island, Ding Sina was shocked by this vast and majestic island. Isn't this area too big? This year's newcomers will arrive on the island in the early 10 days, and they haven't arrived in half a month. With such a scale, if it takes another month or so, I am afraid that it will catch up with many official island owners. Outrageous. After seeing many aboriginal people, I was even more impressed with Su Bei. The owner of his own island, who is really a god, has won the allegiance of the aboriginal people so quickly. And so much more. The banquet opened. and the atmosphere became more harmonious as soon as the nectar wine was drank. Even Yvette put down her guard and her expression softened. The captain of the mermaid patrol, after removing his thick camouflage, is radiant. In contrast, Eleanor, who is also a mermaid, is completely a child. After a few glasses of spirits, Augur and the others danced the dwarf dance, bringing the atmosphere to the climax. The banquet continued into the night. When it was over, everyone felt closer to each other. Yvette, Naya, and Doreen also felt relieved and decided to integrate into the big family of the island. At least at this stage, they have to live on the island, and there is no need to make the relationship too tense. Tsubei has an overview of the overall situation and is more and more satisfied. Everything is under control. Advertisement Chapter 148. The harvest is abundant. With Tsubei's strength, no amount of alcohol can make him hangover. After waking up on time in the morning, Tsubei walked out of the villa for a breath of fresh air. On the canopy of the misty tree in the distance, a new misty banshee is taking shape. This is the third batch of banshees. There are 6 in total. They rely on the top-grade platinum mist tree, and their level increases very quickly, and it can even be said that they are the same every day. It takes 10 days to be promoted to the bronze level, which is a speed that Tsubei is envious of. However, subsequent upgrades will be slower. The mist banshee wants to absorb the aura of the island world instead, and the efficiency is not as effective as absorbing the mist directly. This is also helpless. If the mist banshee is allowed to absorb the mist, it will affect the concealment effect of the island and the birth of a new mist banshee. No matter how strong the mist tree is, there is a limit. Tsubei is not in a hurry. Just take it slow. His advantages will continue to improve over time. Tsubei wandered around the island while thinking. Avina is already busy with the flower fairies, who pick the freshest flowers and start to brew nectar wine after processing. Islander Avina flew over and saluted, then said, "Now we brew nectar wine in the morning, and prepare explosives in the afternoon." Tsubei thought for a while, then said, "Don't push hard, pay attention to reasonable rest." 35 Avina nodded again and again. "Thanks to the island owner for your concern, but it doesn't matter. This matter is nothing compared to the drifting life before." Recalling the previous drifting, Avina still had some lingering fears. Really almost gone. If they hadn't met Tsubei and they continued to drift, they would have just caught up with the shark's rampage, and the end would have been unimaginable. Speaking of this, Tsubei was also very emotional. He rescued Avina and her party and gained a group of little fans. Most importantly, it unlocks the mobility of the island. To be honest, he actually made more money. But now everyone is their own person. There is no need to distinguish so clearly. Afterwards, Tsubei left the flower field and continued walking. Eleanor came from a distance and whispered, "Islander, it can be preliminarily confirmed that there is no direct connection between Yvette and the Queen." Tsubei stopped, thought for a moment, and then said, "Continue to investigate, and make sure that nothing goes wrong." "Yes." Eleanor agreed and left. Tsubei looked up at the sky, a little helpless. Sure enough, the more you know, the more restrained you will be. When he rescued Eleanor before, Tsubei didn't think too much and fixed the entry directly. But now that he knew about the existence of the Mermaid Patrol, Tsubei was a little bit tied. Mainly because he was unable to determine whether the Mermaid Queen had any special means. Just like he needs to ensure the loyalty of the members of the island, the Mermaid Queen will definitely have some arrangements. If you rashly fix the entry, in case the other party is disturbed, the consequences will be devastating. But on the other hand, as long as Tsubei is sure that there is no connection between the patrol and the Queen, then he will be able to show his strength, keep digging the corners of the mermaid clan, and recruit more mermaids to the island. Then use the mermaid's tame ability to form a larger-scale battle team. The overall strength will expand like a balloon. According to Tsubei's calculations, Eleanor's investigation will have results in 5 days at most. Tsubei is looking forward to that day. Friends bar pop-up message. Don't think about it, it must be Shen Qingling. Shen Qingling, the special team has collected about 200 acres of magic field contracts, and 5 bronze-level magic island coordinates, and I will send them to you now. Su Bei was overjoyed. It was 2 times 200 acres of magic fields. If he can write an entry that doubles the area, it will be a full 400 acres. Being able to transfer a lot of special plants in the past and accelerate the growth, the income is definitely leveraged. And the bronze level enchanted island coordinate jade pill, the benefits are also very considerable. Su Bei has been there twice. The first time he recovered tens of thousands of kilograms of meteorite iron, as well as Yaoshi and Yanyan stone. For the second time, I found the alchemy room of the cult of the damned, recovered an experimental diary, and the top special plant such as the mist tree. Now, the special affairs team has found 5 coordinate jades, the value of which is completely beyond the 200 acres of magic fields. Su Bei jubilantly received. Shen Qingling continued. We have already received the first batch of explosives, which are suitable for Blue Star's combat troops to use. Su Bei, it's just right. By the way, I have to say thank you for the transfer of the gunner. Shen Qingling, don't be polite, it's their luck to be able to serve under you. 35 After negotiating some details of the explosive potion deal, Su Bei closed the chat bar. It's time to expand the magic field. Looking at the thick stack of contract parchment in his hand, Su Bei decisively chose to refresh in batches. I am afraid that this thing will be refreshed alone until next month. Refresh 99 boom. Orange light ball. Legendary entry. Su Bei glanced at him and couldn't stop smiling. Fengding of grains, legendary grade, shorten the growth time of plants by 70%. For different grades of crops, the maximum yield can be increased by 30 times, and the minimum is 3 times invincible. The only shortcoming may be that the yield increase is not fixed, but depends on the grade of the crop. If you want to achieve a 30-fold increase in yield, it is estimated that it can only be a common level plant. The higher the grade, the lower the output increase is. There is no doubt. But at least triple the output. The improvement here is huge. The most important thing is that the area of this magic field is 200 acres. Not much to say, at least the special plants above the silver level can all be transferred. Especially the high-value crops such as blood spirit fruit tree, mist tree and storm strawberry will bring unprecedented rich returns. Su Bei was full of energy, rushed directly to the central area of the island, fixed the entry on the way, and called all the earth spirits over. Zieta looked at the magic field contract in Su Bei's hands and couldn't take his eyes off it. This kind of land is his favorite, and if you work on it, you can quickly increase the level, thereby expanding the ability to control the soil. Su Bei uses the magic field contract directly. In an instant, he even heard thunder. The surrounding spiritual energy gathered crazily and poured into the soil. Such a big movement immediately attracts other people. Wang Hao. After feeling the strong spiritual energy, Avina and other aborigines were intoxicated. Their perception of the aura is more acute, and they are more aware of what it means. Although these auras are mainly enhanced magic fields, they can still greatly increase the concentration of auras on the entire island. The direct impact is that on this island, the level will be raised faster and easier. Du Ling, Zhuan Menaiu and the Lin family sisters shouted in surprise. Their levels have risen by 1 level. Du Ling and Zhuan Menaiu, as the earliest ability users, reached the black iron advanced level after leveling up. The Lin family sisters had absorbed the magic energy crystals to reach the lower level of black iron before, and now they also have the strength of intermediate level of black iron. It doesn't look tall, but that's just the beginning. Man. Su Bei smiled. He also felt that his energy accumulation was rising, and the upgrade was not far away. It was a pleasant surprise. It deserves to be ranked second only to the myth-level legendary entry, and the effect is fierce. Advertisement Chapter 149 Transfer Plants. The effect is powerful. 200 acres of magic fields are formed, and the benefits are not only for plants. Even the island members like Su Bei have been buffed. The point is that this gain is long-term. As long as the magic field is still there, the concentration of aura on the island will not decrease. Coupled with the stability of the fixed twin pine, which avoids the erosion of the sea breeze, it will become a fairyland on Earth sooner or later. Why did the aura concentration suddenly increase so much? Yvette's voice came from the side, and Eleanor and the others also came together. They had been playing in the artificial lake, but suddenly they noticed that the spiritual energy was gathering, and they hurried over, and they were shocked by the rich spiritual energy here. Even in the Mermaid Palace, there is not necessarily such a strong spiritual energy. Yvette's eyes kept changing as she looked at Subei. This human being really makes her invisible. But Yvette wisely didn't say much. The aura change caused by the magic field lasted for half an hour before it completely subsided. At this time, the newly appeared 200 acres of magic fields were completely revealed in front of everyone. It can be clearly seen that the soil in the area has become crystal clear. This can't even be called soil, but spiritual soil. Putting the crop species on it will definitely be an unimaginable improvement. Su 630 Bay immediately issued a transfer order to Tuling. According to the grade from high to low, transfer all the special plants. The first is the platinum level plants, the mist tree and the blood spirit fruit tree. At the moment when the transfer was completed, the surrounding mist became thicker, and the 5 fingers could not be seen. However, the mist tree quickly adjusted, so that everyone's vision became bright again. The mist is continuously generated. In addition to maintaining the secret of the island, the excess part will be used to nourish the mist banshee, and their level will increase faster. And the blood spirit fruit tree has also undergone amazing changes. The blood spirit fruit tree itself has the entry, extremely fast growth, and later receives the blessing of the island, as well as the life nourishment of Zielu, and it grows well. Before the transfer, it was already more than 1 meter high. But after moving to the new magic field, the blood spirit fruit tree began to grow at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just a short time, it grew to a height of more than 4 meters, with luxuriant branches and leaves. Most importantly, the shoots are starting to bear fruit. Even though it was only the size of a pigeon egg, it made Subei smile. Blood spirit fruit cannot awaken abilities. But it can increase lifespan. Getting this thing to blue star is enough to make those top rich people spend a lot of money and dissipate their wealth. In addition, the blood spirit fruit tree not only began to bear fruit, but also had a lot of fruit. Like a platinum grade fruit tree, generally speaking, it is quite remarkable to be able to bear 10 fruits. But now, with a cursory glance at Subei, the number of blood spirit fruits exceeded 30. There are many hidden under the branches and leaves. There is absolutely no problem with the total number exceeding 50. Subsequently, the earth spirit began to transfer the gold level plant, the storm strawberry. The storm strawberry, which was originally a dozen centimeters high, jumped directly to half a meter in a short period of time. There were more than 30 strawberries hanging from the branches. The color was a little pink, and it would not take long for them to ripen. This is a storm strawberry that can awaken sea-level abilities. More than 30 pieces, even if it is less, it will not be a problem to awaken 3 ability users. Moreover, Juan Minayu can also use storm strawberry to increase her ability strength, so that she has stronger strength. The second is a pine tree. With it, no matter how strong the sea breeze is, it can't affect the magic field here. However, this plant can only have the greatest effect if it is dispersed. Therefore, it is enough to transfer 1 plant, and there is no need for more. The one that received the same treatment was the banyan tree of Ghost Hand, and if 3 trees were transferred, the new magic field area could be protected within it. In fact, it doesn't matter if you don't transfer. There is the mist banshee, and no enemy can approach here. However, Subei felt that he could not favor one over the other, so he transferred 3 plants over, and the rest were still planted in a concentrated manner, waiting for the enemy to fall into the trap. Several platinum and gold plants have been transferred, and the next is silver. Plants of this grade, the type and quantity are very objective. The first transplant was the fruit tree with light. As before, in just a short while, the Hangyuang fruit tree grew to more than 5 meters high, and there were 7 or 8 fist-sized Hangyuang fruits hanging from the branches. And it is ripe, BHCF, and ready to be picked. This is the fruit that can awaken D-level light powers. A harvest of 7 or 80 grains can be described as a huge harvest. In an instant, Subei can form a large-scale psychic force. It is a pity that only 1 fruit tree seed containing light was obtained at the beginning. Otherwise it would have developed now. Sube suddenly found a happy trouble. The number of ability fruits in his hand is a bit large, but there are not enough candidates for ability users. But this is a good solution. Go back and refresh the fixed entry. If there is no requirement for the entry, the choice is very large. As long as the identity background is no problem, there are as many as you want. Most of Blue Star are ordinary people who are eager for opportunities. Restraining his mind, Sube let the Earth Spirit continue to transfer. Most of the 200 acres of magic fields are vacant and must be used. The next ones to transfer are Dark Blood Fruit Tree and Green Thunder Fruit Tree. These two fruit trees come from the former cult of the Damned Island and are themselves already in the fruiting stage. Now transferred to the magic field, and instantly matured. And the production has increased significantly. There are 12 Black Blood Fruit Trees and 20 Green Thunder Fruit Trees. Together, the number of fruits on the branches is hundreds. Sube seemed to see a cash cow. And it was a cash cow. Originally, I planned to use the explosive agent to cut the leaks of the apprentice island owner, but now it seems that such a big killer is completely unnecessary. These supernatural fruits can achieve their goals. Who can resist just throwing these hundreds of supernatural fruits at the trading center? Sube seemed to see the scene where the apprentice island owners were cut off, but they could only recognize them with their noses pinched. While thinking about it, the 6 dark trees were also transferred. These dark trees have been picked before, but after the transfer, the bare branches actually regrow flowers and bones, and it seems that they are about to get a second plum. Speaking of which, dark fruit can be regarded as the representative product of Sube. In a previous storm event, it was these dark fruits that helped him to complete the accumulation of resources for getting up early and exchanged for massive supplies. Since then, it has been out of control and took off in place. Now get the magic field blessed by the legendary entry. Sube's island will start the second takeoff. While thinking about it, the Earth Spirit transferred the mysterious bird indus over. These few mysterious bird industries are said to have the effect of attracting mysterious birds, but up to now, let alone mysterious birds, I have never even seen ordinary birds. However, it is also a special plant that reaches the middle grade of silver after the entry is fixed, and it is not a loss to transfer it. And surprises often come unexpectedly. Not long after the transfer of the blackbird and the parasol tree was completed, the sound of wings flapping approached from a distance. Immediately afterwards, 2 fiery red birds with a wingspan of more than 1 meter landed on the canopy of the phoenix sycamore tree. It seems that they are preparing to lay eggs and hatch their offspring here. Sube glanced at him and smiled. Name, Juanbird level, Bronze advanced skills, 1, Flame Arrow 2, Fireball 3, Detonation Sprint description, Fire attribute Spirit Beast, Gentle in temperament. With extremely high wisdom, really just what to think. Advertisement Chapter 150 Planning, 1/10. The appearance of the mysterious bird made Du Ling and others cry out in surprise. This bird is so beautiful. And the 2 mysterious birds looked at the people below without any fear. Perhaps aware of Sube's identity as the island owner, the slightly larger black bird flapped its wings and whistled above his head. Sube guessed that Juan Bird was greeting him, and immediately waved. Juan Niao responded with a high-pitched cry, and then landed on Juan Niao Wutong and began to build a nest. Eleanor said from the side, "This black bird seems to be the husband, very considerate." Evan nodded and said, "Indeed, the habit of the black bird is such that it is easy to distinguish." Du Ling and Juan Menaiu also joined the discussion. Yao Dao is a show of 3 women, and now there are a lot of women on the island, which is even more lively, and there are always endless topics to talk about. Sube was puzzled. Du Ling, Juan Menaiu and the others can chat happily. How can they chat with the aborigines such as Eleanor and Alvina? Is the common topic among women common to the whole world? Shaking his head and throwing the thought out of his mind, Sube stopped Du Ling and its little brother. After transferring the plants just now, about 2/3 of the area has been occupied by the 200 acres of magic fields. No way. Advanced plants need too much room to grow. For the rest of the area, Sube was going to transfer the red cloud poison ginseng first. This is a special plant that can make antidote, and Su Bei has obtained the relevant formula from Shen Qingling. However, the characteristic of Chai-Yun poison ginseng is that the longer the age, the stronger the medicinal power. Transfer to the new magic field for a long time, and you can harvest a part of the antidote and prepare it. In addition, the moonlight vine will also be transferred, as well as the seeds of the white moon fruit tree. This thing is the favorite food of the wood elves, and it will be of great use in the future. After this arrangement, there are almost 20 acres of land left. Su Bei first asked the earth spirit to transfer 2 golden lemon trees. I had promised Shen Qingling that I would leave some golden lemons for her, and it happened. Moreover, the 2 golden lemon trees had fruit before, and after they were transferred, they would mature very quickly and could be converted into income immediately. The rest of the land is used to grow sunflowers. This is the main material for making explosives. The more the better. With the blessing of abundant crops, it can be harvested in about 7 days, and the yield is considerable, which can save a lot of money. And the original magic field will not be empty, although the effect is not as good as the new magic field, but it is still much stronger than ordinary land. The star chrysanthemum seedlings obtained from Shen Qingling were just right to be planted. Before, because the area of the magic field was not enough, it could only be planted on ordinary soil, and the growth progress was not fast enough. In this way, the new magic field will be fully arranged. The benefits of using the magic field contract this time are too great for Su Bei to overestimate. Especially the ripe supernatural power fruit, 60 or 70 fruit containing light, plus several hundred dark blood fruit and green thunder fruit. The value is immeasurable. If all are left for his own use, Su Bei can pull up 100-person power user army in a very short time. In addition, his current island aura concentration has greatly increased, and the level of these power users will increase faster than others. Before long, he will have a very exaggerated combat power. Plus there are 6 energy cannons waiting to be completed in the forge. Under his feet, it will no longer be a simple island, but a super aircraft carrier, enough to support Su Bei to explore more far-reaching areas. And this will bring more benefits. In this way, snowballing generally accumulates advantages, and he is 99% sure that he will hit the throne of the Supreme Rookie King. Su Bei's heart is full of pride. But he also knew that it was not yet time to relax, and he would calm down after a moment of pride. Yvette, who was observing secretly, was a little surprised. Faced with such a situation, it is not easy for this human being to be able to calm down so quickly. Eleanor and other aborigines watched on the edge of the magic field for a while, and then dispersed. The concentration of aura on the island is increasing. No matter where you are, you can enjoy this gain. You don't have to be here. Su Bei, Du Ling, Zhuan Menaiu and the Lin family sisters are staying in place to discuss follow-up plans. Du Ling said, "Island owner, with so many supernatural fruits, we can add many sisters." Su Bei's face turned red. Why didn't these words sound quite right? It always feels like it's implying something. But can't fault it. Zhuan Menaiu nodded in agreement, and suggested at the same time, yesterday's new arrival of Ding Sina, the island owner might as well awaken them to become power users, which does not conflict with their position as gunners. Su Bei pondered for a moment, nodded and said, "That's the truth. And I have this plan too. Ask for flowers." Now, we have 3 kinds of supernatural fruits in our hands, the light-containing light fruit, the dark blood fruit and the lightning green thunder fruit. 99 If it is combined with the positioning of their gunners, I think Hang Yuango is the most suitable. The burst of strong light interferes with the enemy's line of sight and prevents the position from being locked. The 4 Du Ling nodded and praised, "The island owner is wise." Su Bei waved his hand, "Don't do this when no outsiders are around. I can't stand it." The Lin family sister smiled, and Lin Xiaoyun said slyly, "Islander, you are not such a shy person, obviously." Su Bei quickly reached out and covered Lin Xiaoyun's mouth, for fear that she would continue to break the news. Du Ling and Zhuan Menaiu looked eager for knowledge, obviously very curious about the details. Su Bei knocked on their heads and said angrily, "Speak the truth." 99.0 Du Ling nodded in agreement, yes, let's get down to business." Xiaoyun, We'll talk about this later. In the end, Juan Minaiu came out to clear the siege and said, "Island owner, in my opinion, there is no need to keep all of these supernatural fruits, there are too many. However, the number of supernormal users on the island should be increased." Juan Minaiu's eyes showed a bit of sternness, and she said coldly, "The hearts of those who are not my race must be different. Eleanor and the others can say that they are their own people, but other aborigines are not necessarily." Although Juan Minaiu didn't say it clearly, Subei knew that she was referring to the three vets. Expanding its own strength is also in Subei's plan. It would have taken a while. However, because of the abundance of grains, the fruit of supernatural power was harvested in advance, and the planning can be started now. After thinking for a moment, Subei said, "I am going to increase the number of power users on the island to 30, which does not include gunners, although it will bring the risk of monster invasion. On the other hand, there is also a chance to obtain more demonic crystallization." 39 If your own strength is strong, you have the confidence to speak. According to the current speed, we will initially enter the mermaid's range of activities in half a month. Even with Eleanor, it cannot be taken lightly. 35 For the aborigines of the island world, individuals can be abandoned in the face of ethnic interests. After some words, Duling and the four nodded. Since the island owner has already made plans, they will not say much. All they can do is support them unconditionally. Advertisement. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.